here for the better part of a decade now. I've lived and worked in San Francisco pretty much my whole adult life, but I've actually just been living in San Francisco since last June, so it'll be 1 year this month, actually, of living on Treasure Island.
Treasure Island. I went to Santa Monica College.
Wow, my dad dropped out of there a couple times, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't drop out, actually.
Oh,
I actually
sorry,
made it
my
out
apologies.
of there.
I don't mean to make assumptions.
I actually made it out of there.
Okay, what'd you study over there at Santa Monica?
No, it was like your basic junior college. You go for 2 years.
But you got an associate's, right?
I went to Fresno. I didn't even bother with the associate. I wanted to go to a 4-year school. I didn't graduate, and they're like trying to get money out of me for student loans.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm like, if you don't graduate, why I gotta pay the student loans? It's obviously you guys did a terrible job teaching me.
You couldn't matriculate.
You're a teacher. How do you feel about that, you know?
Well, I feel like, it's basically a scam, right? Like paying for college is a complete scam.
But you went to college, didn't you? You went to Santa Cruz, right?
Yeah, I went to UC Santa Cruz. Graduated in 2015. Did background in economics there, and it was incredibly expensive, and I haven't paid a single cent back.
Yeah.
Not one dirty cent back. I don't want to give them anything.
My friend went to a convention there a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And he said that he just saw a bunch of students laying out on the beach, and he wishes he had gone to UC Santa Cruz.
Oh yeah, it's a very beautiful spot. You know, like you want to become a hippie, develop a bunch of weird hobbies and interests. Santa Cruz is the place to do it. You know.
Do they still have a stand-up comedy class down there? They used to.
If they had one, I did not see it, but they've got a couple mics down there. If they have a stand-up comedy class, it's not with the university.
They used to. There are a lot of comedians that came out of UC Santa Cruz and stuff.
Yeah, like I think Maya Rudolph went to UC Santa Cruz.
That figures.
Tina Fey? No.
Not Tina Fey.
No. Anyway, just Maya Rudolph.
There are a bunch of them.
One of the Lonely Island people.
How about, did you ever perform at Blue Lagoon?
Oh, hell yeah. I think my first open mic I ever did was at the Blue Lagoon off Pacific, man. Good times. That was a while ago.
Oh, yeah. I used to go there a lot. Like, I would get booked there. I haven't been booked since COVID and stuff.
Hell yeah.
They won't book me. But, I'm DNA. DNA is like a hero of mine.
Yeah, DNA.
DNA has gotten people out of jail. He's gotten people,
Yeah, he's a fixture over there. We're still friends on Facebook.
That's a joke because of DNA.
Yeah.
He's the Michael Cohen of Santa Cruz comedy. He's the fixer.
So he works really hard to keep those degenerates out of prison.
There you go.
So you're a special ed teacher? Or?
Yes. So I teach in what's called a special day class, an autism-focused special day class, specifically in kindergarten over in San Francisco Unified.
I know this is going to surprise you, but I was in special ed.
Very
Not surprising at all.
He's currently waiting for the short bus now.
I am very surprised.
I used to take the little yellow bus to school, but the funny thing is, I'm 52 years old, so I'm thinking that if I was like years older, I might have been labeled autistic.
Probably,
but back then it was like, you were special ed or you were full on, autistic. But I could be autistic because I haven't been known to ride BART for 3-4 hours.
Yeah. It's like the white people autistic culture. Is like an obsession with trains. I don't know why. It's just an obsession with trains.
I love BART. Yeah, I love trains.
I think it has to do with like the Holocaust, man. Y'all really got fucked up by that stuff, and I just keep talking about trains, man.
It's the technical aspect. It's the gears and mechanisms.
They're
it's
never
the
late.
Science
They're always on time.
Exactly. The structure.
It's a great method to move an entire ethnic group out of your societies all at once.
You fucked up.
They're just so interesting. Yeah, I get it. See, that's their culture. That's y'all's culture. Okay.
I don't know about the Holocaust shit, but
it goes deep.
Everything else about the
It's not just autistic people, but I feel like every left-wing, progressive, urbanite person always talks about how much they love trains.
Yeah.
It's like a big thing, man. I don't know where it comes from, but I've
got
some theories.
Go on to your theories.
No, I don't have any theories.
He has a whole train set in his house. I'm not that into trains.
Yeah.
I see kids all the time. They're fascinated with BART.
They're fascinated by it. I've got some students that will imitate the sounds of BART, and they're really good at it.
Is there a sound of BART or?
I'm not as good as they are.
Caltrain, I didn't like much. I don't like
Well, Caltrain, where the
Caltrain.
fuck does Caltrain go?
It
Where are you
goes-
going to take Caltrain to? Oh, yes, I'm really going to take Caltrain to San Jose and Palo Alto.
Yeah, it
oh,
goes
yes,
through
yes,
Palo
great.
Alto.
Yes. I really want to go to Palo Alto that bad.
Well, yeah, I've taken, because my dad used to live in San Jose. But now you can take Barter all the way to San Jose.
Yeah, you can take it all the way.
There's a station
fucking
in
Barter to
San
San
Jose.
Jose?
Yeah.
San Jose.
There's a station. in San Jose.
Berryessa Station.
You can add San Jose to your women's list. Like, you got another territory. You can.
No, that's what
find.
I'm saying, because there's a lot of fine girls in San Jose, but it's getting out there. I don't drive.
Yeah,
so.
there's a whole
Okay, there you go,
university
you know?
out there, San
You
Jose.
know, they haven't
State.
been ruined by this metropolitan Bay Area tech culture, you
No.
know?
Exactly. The rent is still affordable there, so you have you got good people there.
got
There's
good
too much
people.
money out here, so you get a
Yeah.
lot of rich assholes, but there's still wholesome booty.
You get like rich assholes and you get like weird people living on the periphery like us, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Living on the edge, you know?
People think San Francisco's crazy, but I think the craziest people are the ones that live in Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz has got way crazier people.
Well, because you have the it's like the isolation, because I feel like here in like a big city, you have to deal with a lot of different types of people, so it's like you have something to compare your craziness to. But if you're like some guy living in a trailer park in Santa Cruz, and you go to like the semi-free store, and you go to the bike co-op, and no one looks at you weird when you walk around barefoot in the coffee shop, and your pansexual polyamorous dog is a part of some dog social club, and that's just your world, you think that's normal, and eventually just a slippery slope.
Wait, hold on. That's not normal?
Exactly.
Hey, I went to Santa Monica College. I went barefoot to class once because there was some hippie woman I liked who
That's how we do it.
went
hell
barefoot. I said I'm gonna impress her by going barefoot to class too.
The amount of things I did for a woman.
But I don't know anywhere else. I haven't been barefoot. I won't go to barefoot.
I once braided my armpit hair for a girl.
Oh yeah, you did.
That's the kind of lengths I went to.
That's a very specific ask. That's a power move.
To like,
How long was your hair? And
it was like
stuff?
corn rolls.
You know, I've never shaved my pubes. I've never shaved my pubes and stuff.
Never. What do you mean?
I just trim.
What do you mean you never?
I don't even trim.
I
They
don't
have these people come over with like the weed eaters and make
Yeah.
it like the different hedges. Like mine's right now is a duck.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Kinda cool.
I did a
it's
test
alright.
where to find out what kind of allergies I had for food, and you cut off some hair and you send it to them in an envelope, and they said no pubic hairs. Please do not send pubic.
How could they know?
I don't know. I mean, I think because one's curly and mine is straight, but I was like, I wasn't even thinking about sending pubic hairs until I said it. So I went to Vegas last weekend, and I went to see the Princess Diana exhibition, and I started crying. I was tearing up, and I felt like I was being judged by the women there. They were judging me. All these women walking around, and my first instinct, I'm like, I'm gonna go find an empty room so I can stop crying. But then I realized I messed up. There's two things I could have done. I could have just started crying in front of everybody. Hopefully some woman would have given me a hug and said everything's all right. Or I could have just filmed myself crying and put it on TikTok.
Make $1 billion fucking dollars.
I could have gone
I
viral.
made it a whole thing about people not accepting like men's emotions or something.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah,
You could
that
easily
that
spin
could have
that.
trended.
Because there was that
It's Men Mental Health Awareness Month,
Yeah.
right? Is that June 2?
there was that cranberry juice guy that would just make TikToks of him like longboarding and drinking cranberry
Yeah.
juice. Got
Oh,
sponsored by Ocean Spray.
And then he went back to jail, but then he got out of jail, and now I think he's almost has other product deals now. You know?
Yeah. But my
For soap
my
and
first
rope.
instinct- My first instinct was to go hide. And is that natural? Like, if you started crying in like a Princess Diana exhibition, what would your instinct be? Would it be
I would try to own it, I would try to sit there and be like, and have my manly tears
I know.
come out,
That's
try to
the-
look stoic with
That's
it.
the thing. There's a fine line between like woo and like whimpering and like manly like
Silent
she was
tears.
gone too soon kind of thing.
Of course, I didn't really understand the hype around Princess Diana because I'm pretty much like fuck the English, fuck the royal family. That's my.
Yeah.
She was the people's princess because
She was still like of House Windsor, dog.
she was still like rich as
Hey.
fuck, like people, but she still like the queen hated her because she was like filth.
Because she was
she had her
like
murdered.
white collar and
She
not
wasn't
royalty.
filmed.
Literally, like she wasn't again, like she wasn't like, you know,
What are you talking
Well,
about?
she was
on
she was
EBT or
she was in-
anything.
Royalty
Yeah,
too,
she was from
yeah.
the Tudors, not the house. Not house
Yeah.
of Windsor, but she was like from the Tudors family, right? Because the royal family, they're like ethnically German, right? So like by marrying into her, they were trying to make their roots more classically English.
yeah.
But I gotta say they had a picture of her dress when she got engaged. It was a black dress, and Prince Charles hated it because it looked like it was a funeral dress.
Yeah.
And I gotta say I agree with Prince Charles. The dress was kind of ugly.
King Charles now.
But
King
King Charles. But then they had like I think 38 little dresses, like mini little dresses that I guess she sold a bunch of dresses for charity, and they had 38 little dresses that copies. And I realized I didn't know anything about the dresses, you know, like. There's a limit to our
Yeah, like they have like there's a whole rigid set of decorum, how they eat, how
Yeah.
they dress, how they behave during public events, and she like subverted a lot of that to become popular, but also earn the eyes. The same kind of thing with like Meghan Markle and her husband.
Oh
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
Meghan
for
Markle,
sure.
oh, yeah, Prince Harry, yeah.
Right, and then like I think the royal family got salty because she went to Nigeria recently, and they're all getting like loved by the people there. And meanwhile, the royal Charles's kids, none of them are cool enough to do anything like that, you know.
Well, even Merkel, she kind of stole Charles, was it? Like because they're living in America now, right?
Mhm.
So it's like they kind of were like,
Prince
fuck the royal family, Harry.
Prince Harry or something.
Yeah, but yeah. So the queen kind of saw her as like your the publification of the royal family or something. I don't fucking
Well, the
know.
whole her being black was a big problem too.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
Literally, I think
Really
the
that black?
But she's
Oh.
black to them.
she's black enough. The queen literally made comments.
Yeah.
She's like, I hope their children aren't like
dark skin.
literally like
Yeah.
just they.
I don't know when you're being racist and you look at a person like you're like you know, like somebody asked me to be in a Latino comedy show, and I'm from South America. My first language is Spanish, but
Eres chileno, no?
soy chileno. But
Okay.
I was like, I don't know if I wanted to do a Latino comedy show. You know,
Well,
like,
it's also like, you know, I want to be me, you know. I want to fit into a
Yeah.
theme, you know.
I know where's the pothead show?
Yeah,
Like it's gay pride. I don't get booked for any gay pride show.
No, not the right kind of queer
Have you-
for them.
Are you getting booked for
Yeah,
gay
you're
pride?
a
Of course not.
Oh.
Of course not.
You're a
Of course not. You know.
Oh,
They only want like mass of center queers in like the weird sex shows. They don't listen to the comedy shows.
it took me years to
Yeah.
figure this out. But
Well, are y'all even queer though?
One of the reasons why I have
It's none of your
trouble with
business, right? It's
relationships
fucking it's Pride Month.
because I'm too into lesbians. I figured out I like lesbians.
Yes,
I did
Chris
it.
is gay 30 days of the year.
I know. I didn't realize a lot of the women that
He
like
took
the
the
ringers
notebook.
were just plain lesbians. Yeah.
Yeah, you do
Just
look
playing.
like the last man a lesbian has sex with before she comes
Well,
out.
you know, I took a picture of one of my boobs and stuck on Facebook, and they banned me.
They actually asked Kristen,
For
are you
new-
a top or a bottom? And he said yes.
There's like,
Hey, I saw some people arguing if Bert and Ernie, which one was the top or the bottom, Bert and Ernie.
Which one's the yellow one?
Bert is definitely the top.
Bert's the top for sure.
Bert is clearly the top.
Ernie's yeah.
Ernie's
Isn't
definitely
it like the shorter one usually is the bottom, or I don't know how
That's
that
how it
works.
works.
Not always. Because you could be shorter and like more muscular, and then
It's the
you
one
could
with
have
the
like
fat
a top
ass.
skinny twink.
How
Not
you
even
know-
a
how
fat
you
ass.
know when Ernie comes? He goes,
I tried telling them that the Cookie Monster was gay. I thought the Cookie Monster was gay because
this is just not working.
nobody's that crazy about cookies.
Yeah, crackheads are. Yeah,
And that
crackheads
is
are that
crack.
crazy.
Yeah, I tried to tell somebody about how crackheads love ice cream.
It's like he's like a metaphor to teach kids about living with neighbors that have substance abuse
Oh,
problems.
Yeah.
for sure. Well, that's what was so groundbreaking about Sesame Street because it was kind of relevant to like a real situation. Going back to Cookie Monster and drug addicts, something about like coming down on heroin. It literally makes you have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
Because my aunt, she was an addict, and yeah, like crazy
Oh, yeah.
fucking sweet tooth.
That
That's why they all lose their teeth and shit.
I was watching your videos on Instagram, and you're talking about how you had to clean up some heroin and shit.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, I used to be when I first came to the Bay Area. I was one of my first jobs was I was a social worker in the Tenderloin.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I worked over at the Coalition on Homelessness for a couple years over there, working in the drop-in center. Was a pretty young kid, very idealistic, was trying to like really help with like, social work and social issues. And it was a pretty brutal job in that you have to deal with people like at their worst, and they don't pay you fucking anything. I made $300 a week at that job, like working full time, like managing, people with addiction problems, people with serious mental health problems. And it was also like a homeless advocacy org too. So you're also like trying to like organize political campaigns, trying to get people to go to public comment. So it was pretty all involved, and I got paid nothing. And I had to mop up shit all the time. And eventually I was like, I'm not a monk. I'm not a priest. I am but a man, and I can't fix this. But it's also, I think it was a good experience because you kind of get to see kind of what's called like, the homeless industrial complex, right? You get to see all these major networks of nonprofits who are all sort of given money to sort of help homelessness, but we really are just kind of there to sort of perpetuate the whole narrative, the whole problem even, because if we solved homelessness, this whole thing we wouldn't have anything to talk about. What would the news talk about?
No one in that industry would have a job to care for homeless people if there was no homeless crisis.
Exactly.
I'm unhoused, because I live in a condo, so...
Oh, yeah, that's essentially homeless.
I'm unhoused.
You're, what's it called? Housing insecure. That's what we call that.
That's one of my new jokes. I'm unhoused and stuff.
But yeah.
Yeah, so in Vegas, it was 110 degrees, but it's not that bad because there's air conditioning in casinos.
Everywhere. There's air conditioning everywhere.
Yeah, it's not like you're stuck in the middle of the desert, like trying to find the tree to hide under, but... Yeah, it was pretty crazy, and I don't know, it was like it's different, like, and you gotta plan ahead. I sit in downtown, and like at 5 a.m, I decided to go to the White Castle.
Oh, hell yeah!
But they had run out of hamburgers, and I told the guy, I'm like, if you don't want to cook for me, just tell me.
Just don't want to cook for me. If you don't want to serve me, just tell me. Don't give me this bullshit. There's no fucking patties.
I respect that so much.
The Walgreens is open 24 hours, so I went and got some chips. But
I like things I love about Vegas. I love that the airport is right in the middle of the goddamn city. That's so cool. That's so convenient. I like how like Vegas is just like it's a mix of like red and blue. You can just meet every type of person trying to get fucked up in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's a fun town. It's hot as hell, but I love it.
I feel like that's a good cure for America. Just get everybody fucking partying and shit.
Yeah,
A lot more similarities and differences and shit.
There's the thing, like when I was a social worker, I was always so interested in working because people on the street, they're all different political persuasions. You wouldn't be amazed, but they're all served by like woke people. And woke people don't really like when I say woke, I mean like stereotypical woke.
You talk to some guy in Tennessee and say get a caricature artist, like describe a woke person,
and that's them. But these people are real. That's why we can talk about them.
But I have woke friends, but sometimes they kind of forget they're woke and they say some racist shit.
Well, the thing with a lot of this woke stuff, a lot of this ideology comes back to these simple binaries. So this they'll say all this kind of stupid shit around like trying to like identity politics is a big thing. Like I listened to like that stuff like that like with the election that stuff came up with a lot with people like wanting like more diverse candidates or diverse media. We try to use these buzzwords versus actually trying to understand a person. I'm going to judge a person because they have X, Y, and Z background versus what they say. That's why all these liberals threw behind London Breed when she's like the most pro-corporate conservative mayor we could ever have.
It's Chinese, isn't it?
She's white. She's a white husband. Right?
No,
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I heard her husband's Chinese, some communist Chinese guy. Yeah, but my woke friend started talking shit about Juneteenth. I don't give a fuck about Juneteenth. I'm like, how are you a Trump-hating woke motherfucker? And you
don't want an extra day off. Yeah, what kind of Trump bullshit is that?
He doesn't work. Actually, there was a Trump rally when I was in Vegas, but it was 110 degrees. It was outside. I'm like, who the fuck has a rally outside at 110?
Hey, they're real loyal right now.
And people,
that's the thing. They're testing that. It's like, you'll come out, okay, let's go.
Let's go.
What was that one? That one Trump rally, it was like a couple of years ago, right before the election, and it was in the middle of fucking nowhere, like Pennsylvania, and all these people drove out. Like, it was pretty much like Trump didn't even show up, and everyone was stranded or something.
Yeah, I think I heard about that similarly.
Fuck, a couple of years. That was so fucking funny.
Well, because it's such a cash cow for his whole campaign, because they sell so many products there, they sell tickets to go. So it's like he was even having those rallies even during his term. He was constantly just doing these rallies. It's his work. I mean, he's like the hardest working stand-up comedian in the country.
Oh,
okay?
oh my god! So if you stripped away the politics, he'd be so fucking funny. funny.
He
Like
is
he really
fucking
is.
funny.
He really
He's
is.
so
He's got-
fucking funny. And people need, that's the thing. Like,
Yeah,
you
he
mention
is
that in San
hilarious,
Francisco,
man.
people get
Yeah.
so fucking angry at you. But then you'll be like, no, I'm not saying I agree. But he's
cheeky. He's
funny.
fucking cheeky.
He's hilarious. Like, I forgot. I think he was talking about bears the other day. And my mom's like, why is he talking about bears? And I had to explain to her, like, he's funny. So he does jokes.
He was talking about like sharks and shit recently too. He's
Yeah.
a
Oh, it was
big afraid of
sharks.
sharks.
Meanwhile, like
Bears,
Joe
bears,
Biden
bears.
can't string together a fucking sentence, and Kamala Harris constantly tries to make up phrases and expressions when she speaks. She's such
Yeah.
a terrible speaker. They don't even let her speak. You know, it's like ridiculous. But you have Donald Trump just doing a solid hour.
Just riffing.
He's got callbacks. He's like, he's doing crowd work.
I think
like, damn.
the funniest thing I ever saw was when he was at the Libertarian Party.
Oh,
And
yeah.
They were all roasting. He was like, all right, if you don't want to win, if you want to keep getting the 3% vote, all right. And they're just yelling at him, and he doesn't even care. And it's like, again, I don't like Trump. I don't care about the politics, but like, he's fucking funny.
Yeah.
I don't like it when people don't try and talk you out of voting third party. Like,
Yeah,
if you
that's
want to
some
vote
nonsense.
third party, just vote third party.
Throw your vote away.
Well, it's also like,
Yeah.
because people really try to like use a moral argument versus like a rational argument. It's like, oh, well, that means you must just hate X, Y, or Z group of people. It's like,
Yeah.
no, I read these politics, I don't like them, and I'm not going to
Yeah.
vote for them because the alternative is worse. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think that's why Hillary didn't win, because it's
Yeah.
like people really don't like Hillary. I think The Simpsons said it best.
Well, they didn't just like Hillary; they didn't like her policies.
That
you
too,
know?
and like the Clintons in general. There was a good joke where someone was talking to Lisa. She was trying to be like the school president, and they're like, "Okay, it's not that we don't want a female president. We just don't want you."
yeah, that's the big thing.
You know, Mexico just elected a female president.
Right.
You know,
But it was low-key cheating because the two candidates were women. I
Yeah.
think it's
And-
very important for a woman to defeat a man in a general election. That is very important.
That is very
politically.
fair, but also that election had the highest number of assassinations for candidates in Mexico.
Yeah.
Just straight up, just like
Well,
there's
the
only
local
two
level,
because
the
there's
local-
only two left. Like,
Well, there's also at the local level because they also had a lot of just district and local elections too, where there's like I think one of the candidates like his stage was sabotaged, so it like collapsed while he was speaking, and like hundreds of people were just like injured during a major rally.
somebody calling you in the middle of my show. How many phones? Oh no, that's like yeah. You know, I was watching the Tonys last night, and Hillary showed up
Of course, she would show up
because they have
have to get the gays back on board before November.
I think they have a Broadway musical about the suffragists.
Suffragettes, yeah, there's a new one out. Yeah,
she was
recently
out
won.
there, but you know who won Best Musical? It was motherfucking Pony Boy.
Yeah, people want fun shit. They don't want
You know
serious
Pony
stuff.
Boy? You know
I don't know
Hits
Pony
them
that?
Boy.
over the head with this message.
Did you ever
know?
see the movie The Outsiders that came out in the
Yeah.
80s?
Yeah, I remember
Yeah, they
that.
made a musical.
Really?
And it won like Best Musical. Pony Boy. And I guess Francis Ford Coppola is making a movie right now.
Megalopolis?
Yeah, and
That's
he's
his
like
current one.
he's in his
Megalopolis.
80s, but they keep putting out stories how he keeps grabbing extras' asses. Like he's very grabby.
He's an
handsy
80-year-old man. He
grabby.
probably doesn't know the difference between an ass and a door handle.
And I'm very upset because
I
Aubrey
like that.
Plaza's in the movie, and I'm like, I want to see Francis grabbing Aubrey Plaza's ass. I'm gonna be very upset. I'm like, hell no.
I mean, it fits in her character.
Okay,
She
but
would
Are you gonna be
do it.
upset for
the
Aubrey
guy's
or for?
from the Bay Area. If I hear he even touched Aubrey Plaza, I'll be like, oh, we got a fucking problem. I don't care.
You know what?
You're in the 80s. I'm gonna track your ass down.
You know, I don't care. I don't care about the age difference. I just care about I just don't care about Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, yeah.
I don't-
No, I'm just.
I don't either.
I don't care either. I'm just like joking.
Nah,
I don't-
Like
I
most
mean,
young people, I don't like mean
yeah.
women. You know, I
The
don't like it.
Coppolas are like-
I don't
they're
like
like
mean women.
Barry-
What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
The Coppolas are like they're Bay Area royalty. I mean, you go to North Beach, they own a lot of fucking property. down
yeah,
there,
it's
so.
built in.
And I'm there every Friday at Cal, so I was just kidding. I don't want any Coppola coming after me, dude.
I think
You go to start your car, it just
The
fucking blows
Coppola.
up.
it doesn't
You know, I mean, they made The Godfather.
Your
so
Clipper card
they
stops
might be-
working.
Yeah, they might be connected. It might be connected.
Your Bay card's revoked. You gotta leave.
Oh, hell yeah.
You can't get into your condo. Your gas
Just
stops
everything's
working.
fucking locked.
Fuck yeah. So I got this free T-shirt from my casino, the Apache. Apache.
Did they do you better this time? Because last time there was some controversy, right?
Yeah,
with the ghost. A ghost
Yeah, the
stole
ghost.
his things.
Yeah.
Ghost?
Well, somebody took my laptop and I went and
Out of your
complained.
room?
Well, they said that they advertised the Apaches advertising that they're haunted. They're like, we're haunted.
Oh, it's like on an Indian burial ground or some shit.
Yeah, and they make you sign.
Everywhere in America.
I think it's because,
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It's because I think the owner like to kill people. Man.
Hell yeah!
That's
You need to own that history.
Yeah.
What they say in a casino? There's a lot of holes in the desert.
Yeah. So they're like, I complained my laptop was missing, and they're like, yeah, we got a ghost that steals laptops and
The
stuff.
fact that a staff member said that to your
Yeah.
fucking face is amazing.
And then
That
I'm
is
like,
marketing. That is some real marketing.
I'm like, I put it in the safe. And they're like, well, you know, ghosts can go in safes. You know?
The ghost.
Oh my god!
And they stole my deposit last time, too. But I figured out they didn't take my deposit. I was stupid. I checked in early, like maybe an hour or two.
Oh, and they like
Because I had to go to a comedy show. And they charged me $100
for the
checking out.
early check-in.
I mean, I paid like $250 for the whole round trip hotel stay for 4 days, and they're gonna charge me. But this time they gave me back my deposit. I got a free T-shirt.
Oh hell yeah.
No laptop or whatever.
My laptop.
Free T-shirt though.
I got a free T-shirt and.
It's a pretty fresh shirt.
It is a nice shirt.
They actually got a pool, but I never went to the pool. But the whole party scene, the pool party scene is big in Vegas.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, but I'm pale as fuck, so I'm not.
You won't last long.
I'm not about to like burn.
I mean, you'll fit in. There's plenty of starfish-looking people out there.
There's plenty of fat people in Vegas,
Plenty of white tees, big bellies,
Oh hell yeah!
low-hanging boobs.
When I picture Vegas, I picture like cargo shorts and those kind of like the brim hats.
Yeah.
Sunglasses.
Yeah, it was like a
little zinc on your nose.
Yeah, zinc on the nose.
Yeah, I try to.
A fanny pack.
You know it, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I came in prepared. I was scared of the heat because I haven't really been in that type of heat in a while. I know how to deal with it. Like, what am I gonna do?
We're spoiled living in San Francisco.
I'm
It's
just
so
gonna-
fucking cold here.
I'm just gonna hide out in my
Today's like
room
as hot as
all
it normally
day.
gets, you know.
But yeah.
Going into like the fucking what was it when you were there? What's the peak? Like 140?
I think when I arrived, it was about 110.
That's ridiculous.
That's
110, and they're like, it's a dry heat. I don't know what the
Well,
dry
people
heat
say that
is.
it's fucking,
Oh.
that's ridiculous. Sure, yeah, tropical heat is worse, but that's not
Dry
what I'm
heat
focusing on right now.
Dry heat creeps up on you. I was backpacking through Utah.
Okay.
And that was my first ever dry heat, and I'm just walking through the city, big heavy backpack, and I just start to like just pass out. Like my vision starts to fucking go because I wasn't drinking water and I wasn't sweating either. Like that fucking like humidity. At least you sweat it out. You know, it's like you know you're losing your water, but yeah, fucking dry heats, man.
I made some friends, though. I was wearing a Captain America t-shirt. I'm on the strip, and there's this guy dressed up as Captain America. And he's like, I gotta take a picture with you. Right? And I'm thinking, this is great. And then he sees I'm wearing a 49ers cap. He's like, I'm from San Francisco. I am too. I'm like, that's great. And I'm thinking, is he gonna charge me for the picture?
Oh, you know.
So I kind of bailed. I kind of bailed on him. I'm like, I mean, if it was a Transformer guy, I'm like, maybe I'll take a picture with a fucking Transformer.
Those guys that like
Turn
they
into a
full
car.
on go into the little
Car
child
and
car
then-
thing.
yeah.
That's cool, man.
Where the hell do you have to have it? Where do you buy a Transformer costume anyway?
You build that shit, man.
Yeah, you
You
probably
gotta-
have to build it.
Who builds that shit anyway? Where do you even get one? I saw there were two guys dressed up like gorillas in downtown.
That's so stupid.
They're dancing like
That
I
must have been
swear to
so
God,
like fucking sweaty in
two
those
of
suits.
them. And I'm like, it's fucking 110 degrees. These fools are dressed up like gorillas. You know, it's like, it's crazy. And I'm thinking, like, if I move to Vegas, I got to come up with a costume to make money on the side. Something that they can't see my face. So people, my friends can't go make fun of me. So I can, I can get,
You can still do the hustle, but
I could be like one of the Simpsons or something.
Or I don't know, you could do some kind of pirate get-up, play on the whole Oakland Raiders, losing them to Vegas type
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Trying to think.
honestly, like, because you can make a costume that doesn't fit your aesthetic. Because I've seen lots of like portly, short
What are you trying to say?
Mexican men dressed up as like Minnie the Mouse.
What are you
so it's like
try-
if the costume's big enough.
What are you trying to say? Did you just call me portly?
No, what I'm saying is the juxtaposition for the outfit to what you're wearing
Did you
in the
just call
costume.
me fat? You
Fuck
call me
God
fat.
damn it. Fucking
No, we
Colin's
know
calling
how
me
much
fat.
you enjoyed things like the 49ers. You said sportly.
Yeah.
Excellent pivot.
Thank you, Paul.
I was explaining to a bunch of Raider fans about how depressing it is to lose a Super Bowl. I had to explain it to them because the Raiders haven't lost a Super Bowl in like 20 years. You know?
That's what I'm saying. You got to translate what the Super Bowl is to me because I'm a Lions fan.
The Super Bowl is...
I don't even know.
I don't even know what that is.
Actually, the 49ers won the Super Bowl in Detroit, like 30... I think their second Super Bowl they ever won was in Detroit. Or the third
It
one.
was in Detroit, but like the Lions never made it. So they were just using their stadium. Like, you'll never get there, but we'll just use the dirt you have.
Oh, yeah,
Who were they playing?
They always use a different stadium. They don't like, you know, but they think the Lions might make the Super Bowl, but they're not going to do that.
They've been doing good, right? Because I gave up. I don't even pay attention anymore. I just say I'm a Lions fan. That's all you need to say. It's the
Yeah, my father worked too much to teach me about sports. It's just like, the blue
sports
team,
ball.
right?
I like live
The blue
sports.
team.
Like I can get into it live, but watching
I went
TV,
to my first Giants game like last fall, and it was a delight.
I bet.
It was a delight. We took the ferry from Oakland, was drinking beers the whole time over,
Hell.
double fisted out in the nosebleeds. Baseball's, it's pretty all right, you know? I didn't
yeah.
know, you know?
Yeah, I was there
That
on
was out-
Saturday, yeah.
So that was out in Oracle or
I think, yeah, it was Oracle.
Yeah, Oracle,
Okay.
yeah.
Ferry takes you right there. It's lit.
You were double fisted on the ferry?
Yeah, absolutely. I was double fisting on the ferry. I was,
That's a
was
San
double
Francisco-
fisting on the gangway. I was double fisting in the walkway. I was double fisting on the way up to my seats.
I haven't been on the ferry
San
in
Francisco.
years.
It is San Francisco. They're accepting of here.
I can't even remember the last time I was on the
Been in
ferry.
Rome.
Do you gotta pay with
to
your
get
clip-
fisted? No.
To get fisted on the ferry? and
You can
stuff?
pay with your clipper to get fisted on the ferry.
Oh.
Absolutely.
I know.
Absolutely.
You get the discount with
Well,
that.
it is Pride Month, so
Not even Pride Month. 365. You
Yeah,
can
that's
pay to
just
get
the. That's
I
the-
think it's okay to be
That's
gay.
the liberal reforms we've won in this city.
It's okay to go to the bathroom and
Welcome to the
Do some-
cancellation
do
program.
some circle jerk.
Hey!
It is Pride Month.
I used to work at this clothing store, and we had these punch card coupons. We never showed any of the customers this, but it was for the workers, and it said show whole for discount, and it was
Oh.
just like you show whole, we'll get you 25% off, and we had it punched a couple times, implying somebody took up on that offer.
Show a hole.
Show whole, any hole will do, really. Just show us whole, and we'll get you a deal.
Your eyeballs.
No,
Okay.
sexual hole.
All right.
You know
Show
who?
hole,
My,
literally show hole.
you know, my hero is the guy who invented bowling because like two holes were not enough. You know. Because the bowling ball's got three.
It's got
holes.
3, yeah.
It's got 3 holes.
He wasn't going to have fun unless he could stick his thumb in two.
I know.
Did he often strike out?
Maybe.
That's just a logical outgrowth. If you want to have a real
Yeah.
grip on the ball, you can't just do it with 2 holes. That's ridiculous.
Oh
And I
yeah.
was just going to do the sound effect. But the last time I did the sound effect, I started bleeding in studio. If you remember. The,
Oh, that's there's
I was gonna,
that was the
like,
whole thing.
The finger
Fucking,
coming out of the
fucking
ball.
cut his mouth open.
I like totally went like this and didn't even realize, and all of a sudden,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
That's what you need. You need a sound effects guy. You know, somebody.
We need a
Yeah,
soundboard.
real
in here.
soundboard.
You need
yeah.
a soundboard. Arrgh.
Brr,
Like,
brr, brr.
One of those morning
Just got
zoo
demoted
shows.
from engineer to sound effects.
The sound effects
We need
guy.
who's the guy from because y'all were saying old comedian names like Richard Pryor and shit. Who was the guy from Police Academy that did all the sound effects? I'm sure
Oh,
he's
the
not
black
doing-
guy?
If he's alive, we could probably hire him.
I
He's
think
not.
he is.
He's not alive. He's alive, is he? He's not.
Michael Winslow. He just did Sketchfest last year at the Castro Theater with Doug, not Stanhope, Doug.
Dougie Doug.
No, the Stoner comic.
Oh, Doug Stanhope.
No,
It is. No. What's the name of the other guy?
Doug Benson.
Doug Benson. Yeah, the
I'm
guy.
from Last Comic Standing. I remember I used to
Doug.
So
get
they
super
just did
high
a,
me,
they
the
did a
documentary.
mock-up
That's a
game
good
show
one.
at the Castro Theater for Sketchfest last year, and I forget what the name of it is, but I'll look it up. Thanks for making sure you get me on food eating.
Of course.
Remember?
Lovely.
Didn't Comedy Central have like a comedy festival here for a couple years? And they haven't done it in like 3-4 years.
Well, Comedy Central's kind of been on the
Who gives a fuck
down,
about Who gives a fuck
right?
about
Yeah.
Kind of
cable?
been coming down a bit.
I don't know. I don't even know what channel Comedy Central's on.
Me
anymore.
neither.
Who has cable?
Oh, matter of fact, Michael Winslow was also on America's Got Talent like a year
Yeah.
ago.
Oh no.
Yeah, he was
And
on
they were
there.
like, "Hey, we know you," and they're like, "Yeah, I'm the guy from the Police Academy movies." And then he's like,
Yeah.
"Why you got on America's Got Talent?" Because I've got this.
I've got this
I've
in the
got
bag.
talent.
I've got this in the bag.
He's already
Yeah.
established him. That's sad. That's really sad. That's like an Ernie Hudson kind of situation. It's like you've done good things. Just sit down.
He's a comedian.
Well, it's like
you know?
it's not like he's gonna be They actually all voted yes for him. And
Yeah.
so does that mean? I thought it was just for amateurs.
I thought, yeah, well, like, is he just like for marketing? Like, hey,
Well,
I was
there's
on
also so
marketing.
many plants in those shows, you know. Like he's probably not gonna win, but
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
they'll definitely let him go through a few.
Oh, Michael
rounds.
Winslow's on the season. I'll watch.
How funny! Everyone gets a second chance. Like make some touchy-feely thing, then maybe eject him through a technicality.
I don't even watch America's Got Talent. I think my stepmother said she had tickets for it. And she lives in San Diego, and she had tickets for. She went to a taping in Oakland a couple of years back and stuff. But you know, I don't know. They don't treat comedians well at all and
No.
stuff on that show.
Well, it's because they don't have comedians judging. You know, they
Ah.
rarely ever have people who know comedy like judging comedy. You know,
It's so subjective.
the thing we
kind
were
of
talking about with comedy competitions, how they always don't really make a lot of sense. You know.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what I absolutely fucking hate about comedy, where it's like, it's something that's so subjective and really is like kind of spur of the moment or like the energy of the room, and you could have your career make or break just from like some competition thing, like some sort of like, it's not one of those things that, maybe that's like me being a bitch where it's like I don't want to compete, and it's like I
Yeah.
grew up on those participation trophies, but like I don't feel like that's something that is quantifiable to a competition. Like it shouldn't be like, yeah, I'm gonna win the comedy contest. Like that doesn't feel
Yeah.
like, does that make sense?
Well, it's not like athletics, right? There's subjective, but it's also, I think, when you think of like comics, like we all have like a particular niche, and some people just are just not that niche. Like there's tons of people I'll see, and like I won't find them funny personally, but I'll be like, okay, you've got good timing, you've got good premises, you've got good presence.
You usually can find some quality within.
Yeah, I can be like, okay, that person is a stand-up comedian. They're not my comedian. Versus you can see somebody who's like doesn't know anything about stand-up. They go up and they totally bomb. Those are different things than bombing and just not being the audience.
You can understand the craft put into it.
Yeah,
like what they're
exactly.
doing. For
And
sure.
that's like the thing with like, me and Chris were complaining about comedy competitions before we got on the air, and it's like sometimes it'll just be like so subjective or arbitrary with some of these like different competitions. It's like, all right, that's fine. You know?
Yeah, like when they got the national anthem being sung, and they're like, this person's got 20 million followers on TikTok, and they're doing the national anthem, and it's always weird to hear shit like that.
Yeah.
With 20 million followers, she's gonna sing the national anthem. Yeah.
But it's also the thing with TikTok. TikTok encourages such like shallow engagement that people like those 20 million followers. They don't know they follow this woman. They don't. That was the thing. I was watching some convention because they had an influencers convention, and there's some bunch of these young women that have like millions of followers on TikTok, and they had these booths that were just empty. Like just empty because they had, they 5, 10, 20 million followers, but none of these people are engaged enough to actually go and buy tickets to a convention.
Well, here's the like, just to build upon that. There was a guy who was like marketing himself to me as some like hotshot TikTok rapper, and it's like, okay, like I can work with you, we can figure this out, like I'll cut a track with you or whatever. And then like you look him up, and it's like only 200,000 followers, and he doesn't rap, and it's like there's so much like drama involved, and I'm just like, him, like we're gonna cut him a deal, and it's like he'll give us a shout out, but it's like you giving us a shout out to 200,000 people is not economically viable for us, because it's like those 200,000 people aren't based all in San Francisco.
Yeah,
they're not all gonna come out and show up for you. Like you maybe have like 1,000 people in Thailand, 100 people in Siberia, and it's like it's such a spread thing, like yes, you have 1 million followers, but if they're not.
So
Like,
that's why me and Colin have come up with this punch card idea. So you show us a hole, and we get you. No, I'm sorry.
So I think there's the point about that is what does that say is then it means like the
It's all right,
collaborations.
you don't need to-
Okay.
And like the collabs with these people ends up being like these big major companies. You know, you can't really. How are local artists and local people, producers and local people supposed to collaborate with people who don't have a local fan base? Doesn't make any sense. So then you end up. That's why they all do freaking Temu ads or Fashion Nova ads, because sure you can buy Fashion Nova fit in Siberia, Thailand, and San Francisco, but you're not gonna go to support a
we
local
should start
venue.
doing Temu ads through here.
Absolutely.
I mean-
Everyone should start doing Temu ads.
I love sweatshops.
I love sweatshop labor. Thank
This-
you, China.
With
Sweatshop labor.
With this end, you can julienne fries, and this end is a dildo.
And this end can use to administer your insulin.
I was reading
All in one.
that Klay Thompson like stopped following the Warriors. He wants a new contract.
I hate this
Like these
thing.
athletes now, when they're upset with their team. They stop following them, and then it's like big news. Oh my God, Klay Thompson's not following the Warriors anymore. On
It's like, I'm like,
Instagram.
can Klay Thompson even fucking read? Like, I don't care what Klay Thompson thinks about
He's been on the Warriors for
franchise.
14 years. What do you mean you're gonna not?
Where are you
follow?
gonna go? Like, gonna
I
some
mean,
other
yeah.
NBA team? Sure, go to some other NBA team. That's
14
fine.
years is not enough for you. Like, you know, I'm quite sure the Warriors are like, oh my God, Klay Thompson's not following us. We got to give him like $50 million a year. Like, I mean, does that even work? Do teams like really get that scared? Like, oh my God, Klay's not following us
Well,
anymore.
I think the bigger thing, if you're from the athlete's perspective, is you want to create some buzz around you that's not totally related to your sports career that you can use to do
Yeah.
something else. You know what Klay Thompson probably wants is he probably wants to do something like this, you know?
Yeah.
So he creates the controversy that he's mad at the league. So when they snuff him, because it's probably what they're going to do anyway, he has this platform that he can be like, oh, well, now I'm going to comment on the inside bullshit that I know about because I went through this.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's
you
the
have
dream.
this-
That's the dream for any career is to have that kind of safety net. So you build your establishment, you get the clout, and then you jump off into that comfortable little cocoon of having a small loyal fan base that can pay
Yeah.
your bills.
Yeah.
And then
Klay Thompson's
And then
not
never
following
doing-
the Warriors.
never
Oh my
doing-
God. What are we gonna do? You know, like, what are we gonna do?
Wait for him to like have a podcast like Shan Sharp.
No
That's all. That's pretty much
shit.
what we just said. That's what we can do. We wait until his podcast starts.
Who's he following? Like, I don't even follow Klay Thompson. Like,
Did people give a shit about any of this like 30 years ago? Like before the internet? Like who gave a fuck what like sports people did? Like
nah.
No, not particularly.
10 years ago, I don't think anybody would have noticed if you stopped following your team.
I guess the only sports person that was like people were really following was OJ.
It was OJ.
And everyone.
Well, because he broke out into movies and TV, you know. The juice was loose.
It's
And then he got too loose.
it's so fucking funny. I found old ads for comic books from like the 70s. And it's like a bunch of kids, and it's like, we want to grow up to be like OJ, and it's like, yeah, like
he was
they're
on
all,
Wheaties boxes. Yeah, I think that's the thing, because now it's such a
Role model.
punchline to mock him for being like a brutal murderer.
Yeah.
But at the time, like he was like America's darling, which is why like it was such a polarizing legal case, you know, because so many people loved him, and then it became, you know, so like endemic of like race relations at the time, right? People were talking about the corruption of the LAPD, talking about, you know, domestic violence, talking about like modern media and stuff, and it became like a crux for that, and then, you know.
You know, my ex-wife lived in Brentwood during that time, and Ron Goldman was her type. So I think it could have been my ex-wife, man. She might have been jealous, like, are you banging my boyfriend Ron Goldman? Oh fuck no, I'm gonna kill both of you.
I feel like no one's gonna care if you're like your ex-wife though leads like a multi-hour slow chase with a white Bronco.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what are some OJ stats? And then I'll say that.
He rushed 10,000 yards.
Yo,
in his career.
your wife rushed 10,000 yards.
Yeah.
When she does that,
1,000
we'll
yards.
give a shit. But there's OJ, and then there's also Cosby, because apparently people were like, he could never.
Yeah.
Like, it's impossible.
That was America's father for a long time. You know, and he was like everyone's cool black dad who like had all these like, you know,
Boom bops and bibbidi bop.
yeah, but spent the entire
goofy.
spent most of the 20th century raping dozens of women. You know,
The entire fucking time.
the entire time. You know, but he was like America's sweetheart. And,
He could have been president back in the 80s. That's how popular. Remember, he used to do that kids say the darnest things.
Yeah.
TV
Yeah,
show?
yeah.
I used to be in the audience. They would pay you to be in the audience.
Yeah.
So I used to be in the audience for that show and stuff. And that was like the first guy that really had a metal detector. Like, they really checked you going in and out, you know.
yeah, he was like
But,
the real thing.
In case anyone wanted revenge on Cosby.
Yeah.
He didn't try and offer me any drinks. So.
Unfortunately, that's
Yeah.
offensive.
He didn't offer me any drinks, but I did sleep a lot. Like, somehow I'll just fall asleep for like 5 hours at a time. So maybe somebody
He was
just
putting in the air in the in the stadium.
in the air. I know.
So they don't complain when he has the laugh track going.
Yeah. I was just reading that the former Patriots coach, he's like in his 60s. He's dating like a 25-year-old cheerleader or something. And I'm thinking,
He must have a really nice personality.
in society, if you're a rich dude, it's more acceptable if you're banging like a 20-year-old. Like, if you're broke, people judge you for that shit, you know?
Well, if you're broke, it's physically impossible for
Yeah.
you to do
Well,
that.
no,
You gotta. Well, it's like you gotta be like you gotta have
It's
some compensation happening. You
Yeah,
can
money
compensate
or
for.
property.
Or a big
look
dick.
at Colin.
Big dick can get
Look
you
at
far. That's
Colin.
what I'm
I
saying. You
just
can
feel
be.
I feel like a 70-year-old big dick is not the same thing as like a 22-year-old big dick.
I'm talking like a really big dick.
Now we're just
like
talking
legendary
about-
status, like 70 years old, and you got like a fucking 10-incher, and you can get it up.
I feel like we have radically different understandings of how women and how they work.
All I'm saying is that in nursing homes there have been turf wars, genuine turf wars over elderly men, because a lot of men die off younger than women naturally.
Yeah.
So the women will like gang up and
other
find
elderly women.
That's Paul. He can get hard. He's with us. And if you touch him, I'll cut you, bitch. And like they do that shit. Like
Yes,
there's actual.
elderly people with nothing left will fight over old dick.
If you're that old and you can get it up without pills, that's like you're like fucking Jeff Bezos to them. Like, I can't. Like that's
Jeff Bezos.
worth its weight in
Here's
gold.
my secret: popsicle sticks and baling wire.
And bagels?
Baling wire, like metal.
To get it up.
Yeah, just keep it up.
To keep it up.
Yeah.
Cut off the circulation at the base, and you have the little frame.
Because I've heard Tabasco.
Sounds like a cock ring.
Tabasco up the ass, apparently.
Again, hard to make it swallow it.
Just put it down the end. He's one of those baby eyedroppers, you know?
It keeps choking on the Viagra.
Ah.
Could you imagine going to like a Walgreens and buying a bunch of baby eyedroppers and it's like, I'm going to put hot sauce in this to drip in my cock to keep it hard?
You know, my freshman year in high
Oh,
school.
is that what we're talking about?
They look at you and go, yes, aisle two.
Aisle two, sir.
All right, yes.
I was watching some true crime show, and the police were trying to get saliva evidence from this one guy. So they offered him cigarettes. They offered him drinks. And he's like,
That's
nah.
some unconstitutional
Nah,
bullshit.
he
That's
ain't
some
want any of
bullshit.
that. So
That's some fucking
they watched him.
unconstitutional-
They watched him, and one day they saw him spit somewhere. So when he went back to work, they just scooped up his spit.
Well, that's how they got the Golden Gate serial
Yeah.
killer, is that DNA evidence came up that something about like his daughter knew or something. Or
His, one of his-
whatever.
his,
and then, so
uh,
they started watching him.
His extended family did a 23andMe test.
Yeah.
And so
Oh,
because
yeah.
his family did the 23andMe, they were able to sort of track him down, and then they started.
Then they
surveilling.
had to actually get his physical DNA, and I guess he went outside his house and threw a cigarette butt.
Yeah.
You know,
was
my,
smoking or
my
something.
nephew did the 23andMe test and started asking questions like, there's no Italian in our family, like, because, you know, our last name's Italian. He's like, there's no Italian roots in my DNA test.
Yeah, I
you know?
did that a few
And
months back.
I had
as
to
well.
explain to him, like, you know, I mean, our dads, they, you know, my mom might have been fooling around. I'm not even sure.
There's things we don't know.
Well, like you're from South America, so it's like there's
Yeah.
if you got some Italian in you and your grandpa moved to South America in like the 40s, then there might be some
Yeah.
Italian
Well,
in you.
actually, like the Italian community, and you're thinking the German community, but the Italian community.
they
in
got
Argentina,
but they got down there though. To
They got down there, but the Argentine
there's a
community,
lot-
the Italians are like, there's
there's
been a
a lot
historical
of- yeah.
Argentine community. Because also the Argentinian government was really big on killing all the black and indigenous people and replacing them with Italians. They were very effective at it too. Argentina is a very white country.
That's the thing, 'cause
Yeah.
I knew
White-ass country.
I worked at a kitchen
Hell
with
yeah.
I worked at a kitchen with some kid from Argentina. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm Italian," and I'm like,
Italian,
"Your
yeah,
grandpa,
like-
your grandpa was Italian." He's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "From like the 40s," and he's like,
Argent-
"See," I'm like, "Fascista." He's like, "See."
Argentina is the
Fascista,
whitest
sí.
country in the world right now. Is Argentina.
Yeah,
I don't know. Nah, man, what the fuck are you saying? Like
I-
Sweden.
They think they're
Sweden
European.
is pretty fucking-
I swear to
They
God,
accepted a lot of refugees. The numbers have shifted.
Argentinians-
It's the demographic.
the Argentinians swear they're Europeans, man.
That shit's funny.
And the
It's hilarious.
Chileans are like, well, yeah, you know, that's one thing. Everybody hates Argentinians. We love them, but we hate them. You know. Like,
Yeah,
To make the British more mad, they should keep the English out of the EU and then add Argentina.
they should.
Just to fuck with
They
them.
should and stuff. You know. So somebody was telling me that that they found out that their father, who's from Hungary, was involved in like some Hungary protests in the 50s against the Russians. Like she had no idea that her father was like involved in the whole civil rights fight, you know, to free Hungary and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, like protesting like the USSR's policies in Hungary.
Yeah.
and shit, making them make shoes.
That's noble.
Nah, well, I mean, making shoes. A friend of mine said he got free shoes from some company, some welfare company, but they were like plastic.
Yeah.
And he said the shoes just make you slippery and you fall all the time. And he thought it was a conspiracy. Like, it's conspiracy. They give us these free shoes. They're gonna make us fall and kill ourselves.
That's because they're
Conspiracy.
cheap. The cheap should have a wider profit margin. Yeah.
Conspiracy, damn it! I'm like,
Oh, that's just like conspiracy is so interesting because one, it's like people actually trying to think things through, but it's also like people that have like really no sort of education in the thing they're trying to think through.
Well,
So
that's the problem because there is that like well poisoning where you'll have things like the Muskogee experiments or whatever.
yeah,
They just gave them
Tuskegee.
yeah, they just gave them fucking syphilis and shit, and it's like okay, we
Yeah.
can talk about that, but then you also have people that are like microchips in your brain blood cells, and it's like it's almost as if they're like sponsored by the CIA to make people think conspiracies are even crazier because they're saying some stupid shit. But,
Well, because then it like what does it do is then it makes like fringe opinions seem unreliable no matter what,
Exactly.
right? Like if like it's like let's say like the stuff, so much stuff around COVID was treated like a pseudoscience that's now like accepted. You know, like like, there was a coronavirus research lab in Wuhan, China. There's no way this virus came from a lab leak. That's a conspiracy theory. Versus now, like Congress is actually like considering that.
Now
as a
they're
viable
fucking
thing.
talking about it.
Or even like
Yeah.
ivermectin. Ivermectin is just horse tranquilizer. Meanwhile, every non-European American country uses ivermectin as a COVID treatment.
literally is a dewormer. Like it's an
It is dewormer, but it's
anti-parasite.
also like a COVID treatment that's
Like it-
accepted around the world.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Like-
not just like a pseudo-scientific thing.
Could that be like sensationalism in the media just to make more like hysteria? Or...
Oh, absolutely. Especially when things are politicized. That's the whole thing with Trump and the Trump trial. Is it's so ridiculous? Because even based on the legal framework we have, this trial is not going to actually prevent him from running in the election. It's just to create a bub. And the hilarious thing is, like, fucking Joseph Biden, what's his name? Hunter Biden,
yeah.
was just convicted of 3 fucking felonies. They're much more violent and, like, antisocial than the stuff that Trump was doing.
you know
Yeah.
what? Hunter was stupid. He actually wrote in the book that he bought a gun. While
Yeah.
on trial. I mean, he would have never been on trial if he hadn't put out this damn book. you
Well, the
know?
thing is, he's like a second son who like was like the patriarch of the Biden family. His whole career was basically just selling access to his dad. Like he's probably a very deeply insecure man who wants people to know that he like fucks women and shoots his gun in his hotel room.
Yeah.
You know, like,
It smokes crack.
and
I mean,
smokes crack.
He was banging his sister-in-law. His brother died of cancer, man.
It's fucking
If it was me,
diabolical.
I'd be like, I would come back and like haunt the motherfucker. Like, "Oh, are you fucking my wife? Are you fucking my wife? Like, I mean, and for her to like for Biden to have to admit to the public, like, yeah, my son's is banging like the
My
widow.
daughter-in-law.
Yeah, they're banging the widow, and there's kids involved. Can you imagine the kids like, oh my god, mom,
Grown-ass kids.
Fucking
Like,
my uncle.
yeah,
my mom is fucking
mom
my
banging
uncle.
the uncle like,
It's like my dad bought a gun, smokes crack, is on national
Yeah.
television, embarrassing the president and our country.
It's so funny we say this because like last week we were literally you had a question. It was like, what family would you rather be a part of? It's like the Trumps, the Bidens, or JFK or whatever.
the Kennedy.
And I was like, I went for Biden because I'm like, you could get away with anything.
Yeah, you can get away from
But
anything.
apparently not anymore.
Well, I mean, he hasn't been sentenced yet.
Okay, well, yeah, that's if anything.
That's the whole thing, because neither Trump or Hunter have been sentenced, and there's like no way in fucking hell Donald Trump is getting any jail time.
No, but Hunter's going
gonna
on
get the-
trial in L.A. soon too for tax evasion.
Okay, so
Well, that's the
he's,
thing, it's
he's
like, are
never
they-
gonna go to fucking jail.
Are they gonna go to like the even if
no.
they do go to jail, it's gonna be like the Martha Stewart.
I'm just saying, Jeffrey Epstein got to go home on the weekends when he went to jail for trafficking children in like the early 2000s.
Except for that one weekend.
Except for that
One
one
weekend
weekend,
where
he had bad behavior.
It was kind of the weekend at Bernie's
The
weekend.
weekend at Bernie's type. But I mean, this was even because before he was even convicted later, he had been convicted for sex crimes in the early 2000s, and he got to like, I think he either did his sentence on the weekdays or his sentence on the weekends, so he could go into his office and work. So it's like, who the fuck gets to traffic women and still gets to like go to work at your office and enjoy your bank account?
Well,
It's ridiculous.
He has a modeling agency for the Nickelodeon. Like
Yeah.
he had a modeling agency.
That's
like,
also crazy. You see
preteen
was it
models or
Drake
something.
Bell's documentary came about
Oh,
that
yeah,
stuff, right? It was
yeah.
insane. Because I remember, because it showed like all those challenges that kids would do around Nickelodeon. There was one, I swear to God, they had one challenge where it was like, send photos of your feet. And then the kids would all compete to see who had the best feet pics. Like, I remember this as a kid, and no one ever thought, like, oh, that's some pedophilia shit. No one ever suspected, but it was just right there. It was just, like, so brazen.
They gave him like a bunch of sugar.
They're all, not just sugar, but booze. You know, they would liquor them up,
Yeah.
off-fed, but they would just always have them on Monsters and shit. Or it wasn't Monster at the time, whatever, Red Bulls or whatever.
Yeah, children do not belong in Hollywood.
No, they do not.
But they're always gonna be there. And
But
stuff,
like, the
you
thing
know?
is, like, I'd rather have children play teenagers than 25-year-olds play teenagers. You know?
Vanna Bynes was a better stand-up when she was a kid than I am now. And
Yeah, she
stuff.
was really funny.
I'm embarrassed to admit that Amanda Bynes is funnier than me.
No,
And
she fucking
got
killed
a
it.
yeah. But it was weird because that one guy Dan Schneider, he's in a fucking jacuzzi with her, not a hot tub with her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you in a hot tub with a 10-year-old?
Because he's a fucking pedophile.
I know what the. Why are you even taking pictures of that? That is like fucking nuts.
Well, it's
man.
like it's the same thing with like Harvey Weinstein's. Like those guys have all this power and all this money, and so they probably didn't start off as pedophiles, you know. But as they had all this power, no one ever said no to them. You know, it's all just a slow progress. If you can do this, ask somebody to do that, and over a while, you start forgetting that you're just some man.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the reason Diddy's not in jail is because he learned that as long as your victims are minorities, they're gonna look the other way.
Oh yeah, no one cares
As
about
long as
hip-hop
you're
stars.
not like slapping around white women.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, oh, okay. As long as you slap around your own people, we're gonna look.
And
the
those
other way.
people don't have people to advocate for them. You're gonna be
Yeah.
fine. You know, as long as you only beat up women with daddy issues that have come from broken homes, no one's gonna care.
And then people started telling me like, if Diddy goes down, they're like, Jay-Z's going down next.
Jay-Z's a billionaire.
And I'm like, what the hell?
He's
What
a
did
billionaire.
Jay-Z do? Like,
Well, he probably did all kinds of
know?
things. I don't know what he did. I would assume.
yeah, because I go to this session in Oakland, and the people are like, Jay-Z's next, and I'm like, what the fuck did Jay-Z?
Oh, he probably did all kinds of stuff, but we've seen like how long it took Diddy literally 30 years.
Yeah.
Like 30 years after he killed Biggie Smalls. 30 years after that to like
Yeah.
actually get like criticized for beating the shit out of Cassie.
Yeah.
Criticized, not convicted, not sued. Like that stuff happened previously.
And he still hasn't been charged.
No, he hasn't been charged. He
I
probably
mean,
won't be charged. He
They
might
got
be
a
sued.
video. Yeah,
He might be sued. He's probably getting sued like a fuckload right now. I haven't paid attention to his
Yeah.
case.
What's up with Jay-Z?
What isn't up with Jay-Z?
You getting canceled?
But
Not yet.
Diddy was an
Not yet.
intern, and a couple years later, he was head of the fucking record company. I mean,
How you do that?
you don't think that's kind of weird, Like, I'm
Well,
like,
people would do anything to get to the top,
Yeah, but I'm like, Hollywood is a crazy place. I always tell people, like, if you haven't been in the Hollywood comedy scene, you just don't understand, Like, I'm not surprised at any of this shit, I've known people who joined religions when they lived in L.A., thinking their religion is going to help them get started in the business. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else who's joining religions just for their business,
Yeah, no. There's like
I
a
don't
couple
know.
different. I'm thinking
I'm a-
Scientology is one of the big ones.
Yeah. Well,
There's a couple. There's a couple though. Actually,
I was in the Blue Castle, the Scientology one.
my grandpa was a big Scientologist.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
like, I had to sneak out of there because they were trying to sell me some books,
Oh yeah, they'll sell you all the books. I did all their.
I was
I did a
like-
bunch of those courses when I was a kid, man.
and they're
I
like,
had
well,
e-meters and everything. I went to their facility
where's
on
the
DC.
bathroom?
You got
where's the bathroom? And
Did you ever get cleared?
and I just,
I had a couple engrams cleared, but I wasn't cleared. You know, you feel me?
how do you
I do.
become clear anyway?
You pay enough.
Tell them
money.
everything, and well, that's why celebrities like it because they
Yeah.
offer that sort of like.
It's therapy with no
exclusive-
accountability.
Yeah.
And it's exclusive. So it's subscription therapy.
Yeah.
But also what they do is like, it's the same with most cults. It's like, so, they have this whole counter therapy. And so they basically get you to sit down and basically talk about your life with them. So you develop like a one-to-one
Yeah.
personal relationship with an auditor, literally a handler. And like when you share more juicy things, like, oh, you're getting closer to clear. And after you give enough money, give enough secrets to them, they're like, wow, you're a pure Satan now. Now you have to decode the now you have to they give you another. They give
Now
you another
you're
set
an
of homework.
auditor, and you can also.
But you have to audit yourself.
Right,
So
right,
now
right, right.
you don't need a police officer. Now you're your own cop. It's very.
I keep seeing that.
What's the that's like level
Brad-
13 or
Brad
It goes-
Pitt and Angelina Jolie's kids. None of them want to have the Brad Pitt last name.
That's funny.
Well,
And
at least the one
I
that
just want to say
one
I'm
she
willing.
has with Jolene, because they have one biological kid and a
Right,
bunch
right,
of
right.
adopted kids.
I'm willing to change my name to Pitt. I'm willing.
Oh, I'll take that
I'm
spot.
willing to become one of Brad Pitt's kids.
Yeah, I'll take that spot.
If he feels like lonely, like my kids don't want to see me because Angelina Jolie turned them again.
I mean, he did.
You'd be such a good son to
I mean,
Brad
he did
Pitt.
leave his wife because she had too many black sons and daughters. But I would love to be his black son if he has an open spot.
that does sound kind
If he comes around
If
one
he
more.
comes around, like I'm there, okay?
I mean, that happened to
was
Woody
that
Allen.
was that actually the reason? Like,
Well, the thing is, like, she just kept adopting. Well, my understanding was she just kept adopting kids.
Yeah.
And he's like, whoa, I don't think I can be a father to 7 kids, bro.
that's fair. That's fair.
Fair, right?
That's
That
fair.
happened to Woody Allen too. His wife had like a 20 kids adopted. I'm
Yeah,
like,
and he started fucking one of them.
I
yeah,
choose
of course your husband's gonna leave you if you adopted 20 kids. Like, I mean, when is it his time? You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
I choose to believe Brad Pitt was racist. That's kind of,
uh-huh.
get a couple of white ones and I'll come back.
Did I come back? Oh.
Even it out.
And now they're fighting over a winery on top.
They've
of
been
it.
fighting over one because I think they
Who
But,
cares?
but I think his counter because she like sold it to some like Russian oligarch that was sanctioned after the war in Ukraine and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
What a dumbass.
So then he's like trying to sue her for selling it to him while also trying to leverage. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
I just want to say publicly, like, I'm willing to. Not only am I willing to change my name to Pitt, but I just want to say, Kevin Spacey, if you don't have anywhere to live, you can come and live with me. I got room for you. You know?
have space for Spacey.
I got room for he had a house on Baltimore, right on the fucking ocean, like it was a.
In San Francisco?
No, in Baltimore.
Oh, in Baltimore.
You know, it turns out he tried to be a stand-up. That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
That makes sense. Kevin,
I can
like,
see it.
Kevin's not funny at all, though. You know, he's kind of like, he's kind of scary looking.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
Well, he's
God.
funny as a piece of satire. Like,
Yeah.
have you seen any of these, like, House of Cards? I think it's so hilarious. It's so fucking. It's not supposed to be funny, but it's so hilarious.
Well, that's the thing. It's like there really is different approaches to comedy. And I don't think people understand that. Like your average like Joe America, whatever. Like just because Kevin Spacey's funny doesn't mean he's like stand-up funny. Like
Yeah.
stand-up really
Yeah.
is its own beast.
Yeah.
And, I'm not trying to be like the craft and my art form, like because I do think some of it is just like just kind of fucking around,
I
and
went to
having fun with it. But,
Juilliard.
like,
You went to Juilliard. Like, you end up in Juilliard.
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Like why is
We have a very simple relationship with the audience, but it's also very one-for-one, right? And without the audience, it's like it's very difficult for us to do our job. Like, you can do like a dry taping of stand-up, but so much of like your timing, your ability to gauge jokes, like changing your
that's the
routine,
thing.
like, it comes from the
things
audience.
can come up just from like a live show or whatever. Or even like I love hecklers.
Yeah.
Because I want to
Yeah.
go through that kind of like I want to be able to have those snappy responses, not where I'm just like,
Don't bully me, please. I
Yeah.
don't want to.
Because particularly for me, like I'll have jokes where like it'll be like have some political context, and I want people to disagree with the context. I want to like have that engagement. Especially I don't care if it's bad. I don't care if it's what I don't like is like. What I don't like is people who heckle but then won't have the courage to actually continue with it. You ever had that where like someone will say something like, "Excuse me, what was that?" Like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I can't." It's like, no, get the fuck up here and fucking follow through, you coward!
Yeah.
Like you just interrupted me, you took me off my beat. Now you gotta give me something. Like
I used to heckle people at open mics. I used to heckle my friends, and some of them to this day won't forgive me for doing that shit. Like, I have heckled people because I was so bored. That's why I don't do open mics.
That's the fucking thing too. It's like I think the best advice I ever got for stand up was like anything more than 10 words is a mouthful. And a lot of people have like a full 5 minutes and there's only like 2 actual punchlines.
Yeah.
It's like get in the jokes. I hate like I wouldn't say I'm a heckler, but like I definitely am a yapper.
Yeah.
And like but I feel like again, for open mics, I don't know. It's a faux pas. It's bad etiquette. But like, there was this one guy. He had a joke about like his dick being like a superhero, and it was going off or whatever. And then he kind of died down, and then there was like silence. And then all I said was, "Up and away." Like dick's a superhero. And it's like I feel like that's not like heckling as it is more just like that little spark. I'm throwing little sparks at you, and it's like jump
What's
with it.
like the nature of it? It's like I feel like without that like give and take, it's just a different level of audience. I feel like heckling is right up there with like laughing at the joke.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Like,
exactly.
obviously, when you have like drunk people who get up and try to disrupt your show, it's different.
Yeah, they're
But
just
if you're
like,
having somebody who's actually engaging coherently,
They're kind of clever too. It's
Clever
like, okay,
too. That's like it's actually it provides tension, because normally people have a show, they expect to just listen passively to like you give your thing, but if you actually get a good experience with a heckler, it's like, wow, you've opened up a whole different experience for the audience.
It's flexing. It shows how fucking sharp you are too.
Yeah.
When you can really like.
So then there's also the argument can be had for, depending on what your act is, on how you dispense with a heckler.
Yeah.
So if you are a strong, forceful type, you can either come back with a quip, like you just said, Colin. If you had enough in your toolbox, you'd be able to come up with something quick based on whatever they said. You can enlist the audience to basically turn on them and get them to do your heavy work. And then there's the other thing is if you have an act where you are trying to elicit sympathy from your audience, you can't dispense with a heckler, because if you're supposed to be weak or whatever in that, or vulnerable in that moment, you can't turn around and dispense with. All of a sudden your whole act is kind of gone.
Because you're not acting. You're not acting anymore.
Yeah, you're no longer
lost
acting
character.
in the same tone that you were just a moment ago, and they're going to see right through you. And
Because if they see you get upset, then it's like it.
so sometimes you just got to be patient. It's kind of like late night talk show hosts when they start telling a joke and the audience is so lame that they don't realize there's a tag coming. And so they don't step on their own line. They pause. They wait for the audience reaction to die down, and then they continue.
Like a month.
They're not rushing to get through the joke.
A month ago, I was at Kel's, and there was one woman who was celebrating her birthday that weekend from Sacramento, but she said her birthday was actually the following weekend, but it was on I think Labor Day, and Labor Day weekend it was more expensive. She decided to come the weekend before because it was cheaper, and she told us that before the show. I don't think she realized that Chris was going to get on stage and talk shit about you. I called her cheap. I'm like, you're just cheap. You don't believe in yourself. How you not spend $300 on a hotel room on your goddamn birthday? You show up the week before.
No wonder you're sleeping alone.
I just went after her. Like you gotta believe in yourself. What kind of cheap person doesn't want to celebrate their birthday on their birthday? And then she came up after me. She said, "Oh, I thought you were funny, but and they don't realize.
Just say you didn't have enough time to get her what she wanted for her birthday. So
yeah.
That's all I had. Is insults for you.
That's all, yeah.
That's what it. We got her an Irish coffee. She kept demanding an Irish coffee though, because Cal's is an Irish bar, so they got Irish coffees. But
is that the one with It's like kind of near Marina, and they have a bunch of like Italian shit in the restaurant. Like, it's a big bar.
It's actually in North Beach at like Columbus at what?
No, there's a famous place near the marina called the Buena Vista Cafe.
Oh yeah, the Buena Vista.
They claim that they invented the Irish coffee.
Yeah.
That's bold. I
think that's not true because I'm quite sure Irish people used to put liquor in their coffee.
Yeah, I think the Irish invented the Irish coffee.
Yeah, they would put liquor.
I mean, there's a lot of Irish people in
coffee.
America, so
Yeah.
the Irish American community affects Ireland, but I can refuse that it took like a hyphenated American to figure out.
Someone from San Francisco had to teach the Irish. Like I see where you're getting at because like tikka masala is an English food.
Or even like St. Patrick's Day. It's much bigger here than it is in Ireland.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Especially the marches.
Americans are definitely.
But I refuse to believe that like Irish Americans are like coming up with inventive things to do with liquor that they're not. I refuse.
I just refuse to think that it's like a new thing.
Yeah. Like a recent thing, like a turn
somebody
of the
told me
century
that-
thing.
Hey Patty, we just came up with putting liquor in your coffee, and it's like, wait a minute.
But that's almost like complaining that the Italian car bomb wasn't really invented by a mafia person, right?
It was invented by an
the
Irish
Jaeger
person.
bomb?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's the Irish car bomb.
Oh,
So again,
sorry.
we're going back to the Irish with the IRA.
Because
and
during
all
the
that.
Troubles, the IRA, they invented car bombs. Solid technique. The solid.
Somebody
okay?
told me
It's a
the
fucked up name for a
martini
drink,
was
if you
invented
really
in
think about it.
Martinez.
I want to make the 9/11
There's a
drink.
city called Martinez nearby.
Yeah.
That they claim that the martini was invented there.
The martini.
The
Well, what else does Martinez have? They have to make up stupid shit like that to try to get people to come and patronize.
I guess Marilyn Monroe lived in Martinez.
Who?
Marilyn Monroe was a baseball player. What was his
Damn.
name? Joe DiMaggio.
With Joe DiMaggio.
I think back in those days, they lived out there because you could obviously hide back
Yeah,
then.
you could hide.
You know, there was probably, but Martinez is like the capital of the county that I live in, and every time they send me to jury duty, they try and get me to go to Martinez. There's no fucking bar to Martinez. I tell them,
Nah.
I'm never even bothered with jury duty. Every time I get an envelope, I just ignore it. Like,
Not one has ever managed to make it to my actual address.
Yeah.
I am totally ignorant.
I feel like I would like to do jury duty. I feel like that'd be because I'm uninformed. I could be unbiased, and you get paid for it. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I
I
got
would
nothing
never
going
convict anybody. I'd be like,
well,
not guilty.
Okay. So a murderer of like 12 children, not guilty. I don't want to convict
Well,
anyone.
first of all, you don't have the evidence to convict this man of the murder of 12 children.
That's what I'm saying. It's
we
like-
have to presume innocence. There's no evidence to participate.
Nah, but like I'm saying, like open and shut case. Like you come in unbiased, they show you the evidence of the 12 children murdered, and you're still gonna be like, no, I can't convict. Like I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
What
I think
about
there's
the guy that shot up the water park who the hell shoots up a water park? Like,
that's probably my most like conservative kind of opinion. But like if you murder children, you should die.
yeah.
Just take them out. There's no like we can't. You know, if it's clear,
Well,
open
they
and
should
shut.
have you like pick up trash on the fucking beach or something. They gotta do something. You know,
Nah,
too
I
much
mean, nah, we
too
can't
much
even-
garbage to just be. I'm just saying, man. There's things that people could do. If we're gonna lock you away in prison
Yeah.
forever, there can be some use for society.
On Facebook, I saw a list of all the serial killers and their signs, and there was no
They're all
Taurus.
Geminis. They're all
There was
Geminis.
no Taurus serial killers. And
Are
I'm
they all
a-
Gemini's, right?
And
They're
I'm
all
a
serial
Taurus.
killers?
Aquarius.
And I kept
Aquarius.
thinking I could be the first one. I could be the first Taurus serial killer. And I asked people at the comedy
Who
shows.
would be your demographic?
Yeah,
Yeah, what's
who would
your-
be
I need
who would be your
volunteers.
MO?
Group.
I
Who would
need
be your MO?
volunteers. But then I remembered the first day of the
Comedians.
Taurus is like 420.
Or
And
producers?
Hitler was born on 420. Isn't he like a serial killer? But it turns out that it's hard to keep track of foreign serial killers because they're in foreign countries. They don't know. I mean,
What are you saying? There's serial killers in other countries. They're just not. We just don't know about them. Like they know about them.
number. It's hard to keep track of the exact
Well, that was like a
number.
thing in the Soviet Union, right? Like in the later periods of the Soviet Union, they would claim there's no serial killers here. Then, like after the fall of the wall and stuff, they'd be like, actually, we had a few. We had a few, and they're quite
Yeah.
prolific, actually.
Well, yeah. It's like, yeah. The other crazy thing, when I was in Chile, like in October, I was looking for a Mountain Dew, and there was no Mountain Dew down there.
Really?
So I Googled it, and it turns out Mountain Dew is banned in 100 countries.
Hell yeah!
And I'm thinking,
Fucking
I've been drinking
cowards.
something for like 20, 30 years that's like banned in 100 countries.
They
What
don't
kind
even
of
consider
bullshit
it a
is that?
beverage.
Yeah, what kind of bullshit is that?
It's
What
like
am
when
I
you have
drinking?
McDonald's in other countries, and you're like, this is amazing. What did you do to this?
Oh yeah, no, they're like consistent. It looks like the photo and shit.
It looks like the photo is
What the
great.
fuck?
I had a cheeseburger in Tokyo. It was amazing. I had a kosher cheeseburger in in Israel. It's fucking delicious. Actually, no.
What,
It was trash.
Did they cheap out? Yeah.
No, like the kosher patties are trash. I just want to say it was interesting, but trash.
But McDonald's
kosher.
is the
Anything
same
related
price
to it.
all over the country. All over the world, McDonald's and Starbucks are the same price.
Yeah.
I'm angry because it's expensive as shit. I hate to say it, McDonald's is too fucking expensive.
I
I
mean,
love Jack in the Box and Burger King because Burger King also takes EBT
Yeah.
and coupons, so I'm like doubling
But
down
the
on my
secret
savings.
with McDonald's is you get the app. If you get the app, you can get the. I have the app because I'm an addict. My first memory of using a microwave is as a toddler heating up a cheeseburger in the microwave because McDonald's is slop for people.
I got it.
The McDonald's in Vegas, they don't take money. And I
Don't take money?
They don't take money. They just,
Cash money. All
they
cards,
they
right?
just take cards. And I won't join the app because I'm a fat person and I'm ashamed that somebody is like, oh my God, the fat dude is got McDonald's as an app. Like I'm shamed. I feel shame.
Hey, don't let those bargains don't let shame keep you away from those bargains. Okay?
I
exactly.
won't.
I
No,
can get a
it's
2-for-1 sandwich special every morning with my McDonald's app if I wanted to. I don't do that because that will kill me. But
At Jack in the Box, they have the digital deals. That's what you need. Digital deals. You can still get 2 tacos for 99 cents at Jack in the Box.
Because
you know
without
there-
those deals, Jack in the
They
Box
used to be
can
like
be
50.
expensive.
You know,
I
there's
feel
no
like-
meat in those tacos and stuff. They're all soy.
Oh, really?
There's meat.
There's no meat.
That's what I'm saying. I don't
There's
care.
not an
I don't care
animal
if
they
it's
were
dog or
accustomed to
raccoon or whatever. It's fine. If it's processed and covered in salt and deep fried, I'll
No,
eat
it's
it.
all
I will
soy.
eat
There's
it.
no meat inside.
All roadkill has been processed.
You know what? You know what? I had an auto shop teacher.
That's just the Western bias toward other animals, all right?
I had an auto shop teacher who hit a grouse with his car, and he fucking roasted that shit, brought it into class, and we're like, this is good fucking, like, I've had roadkill, it's fucking good.
Howdy.
A
Yeah.
grouse?
It's delicious.
Those kids
good
don't
eating.
understand.
My mouth's
Shop-
already watering.
Shop teachers are like the funniest people, man. I remember
Grouse.
my shop teacher used to crack jokes all the time. He was the funniest guy. People don't understand. They're missing out by not taking shop class.
yeah.
Or not
I
even
got-
having them.
Yeah.
Carpentry class.
My
Right,
fucking
now
shop.
a word from our new sponsor, Grouse World.
My fucking shop teacher was so fucking funny. He told us a story once. He had his auto shop he was working at when he was a kid. Some guy came in, and I guess they didn't vibe with the new guy coming in the shop. Like, he was a little hoity-toity, complained a lot, I guess. So our shop, like, this is like grade 9, like grade 10. He's telling fucking kids this. He's like, so, he's like laughing about it. He's like, yeah, so we grabbed this guy's lunchbox, and we each individually took a shit in it, and then just like didn't tell him. And then he saw it, and he's like, you gonna keep bitching? You gonna keep working with us? This will keep happening. And we're just like, cling vial, what the fuck? Fucking shit in
Well,
this
you know,
guy's lunchbox.
man.
He made his point, and I guess the guy was like chill after. He like, I guess
What happened to this country, huh?
we used to shit in lunchboxes
There used to be
here.
a time when a group of young men we could shit in a lunchbox to intimidate our coworkers.
And it was-
what happened to that?
And we became friends after.
The story I'm about to tell might have happened or might have not happened years ago.
Allegedly.
I choose to believe.
Years ago in LA, like I think it was West Hollywood, I had to take a dump out of McDonald's, and I asked the employee where the bathroom was, and they're like, "Well, it's upstairs." So I'm going upstairs, and an employee runs right by me, and he ran past me and went to the bathroom, and I'm sitting there like 15 minutes waiting for this guy to stop taking a dump so I can take a dump. Now this is the part of the story where I don't know if this part is not true. I don't know if it's true or not. But Chris might have taken a dump on the floor just to think like, I hope this guy has to clean it up. Yeah, but I don't know if it's a true story.
Oh, dude, oh, Chris, I really resent you for making me clean that shit up. You know, that was fucking bullshit. They don't pay me enough.
of
for
the
that.
world have it hard enough.
The workers of
I
the world
was-
have to unite against Chris's asshole.
I was thinking that if you had showed up in the Bay Area now, you probably would be working at McDonald's because they're paying $20 an hour.
Yeah, they're paying good, you know?
They're raising the prices.
It's not like I've invested years of my life to
Yeah.
become an educator and make slightly more than a McDonald's worker.
I was
you know?
thinking about working at McDonald's. In fact, when I went to the Giants game, I'm like, this is a cozy job. You work like 3-4 hours a day. You just sit around, you know.
No, McDonald's is honestly solid.
Yeah.
Man. If you're managing that shit, especially, like, it's pretty
Yeah, the managers, you know, they said like 1 out of 8 people in America have worked at McDonald's. And that includes me because I did extra work on a McDonald's commercial, right? There's a McDonald's in LA they use just to make commercials. I was an extra for McDonald's commercial. So I'm one of those 1 in 8 people who worked at a McDonald's.
Really?
Did you work? No, because I didn't. I was an extra in a McDonald's.
You technically, yeah, you got
You
that
technically
McDonald's
worked-
corporation
Yeah, I worked-
paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've like the only time I've worked in food, I worked at the back of this like teriyaki bowl shop called Itza on Telegraph in Berkeley. It was like literally like it was like a closet. So you go in, and it was supposed to like there's a kitchen behind, but then there's like these boxes. So you tap on a kiosk, and it looks like the food just comes out of a little shelf. It's supposed to be high tech. Behind it's
Oh, that's like an old school like Depression era kind of thing. Like it's all like so they're not seeing anybody in the kitchen, right?
No.
They're just pushing the box and it comes through.
Yeah.
That's coming back.
But of course, it's like it was meant to look all high tech and futuristic.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
a
yeah,
tablet.
yeah.
And so it was just me and a bunch of other fucking Bay Area underemployed teens. Good times. Good.
Did you like
fucking
working
times.
on Telegraph in Berkeley? Did you like
I
Telegraph?
like the area. It was a nice vibe. You know, you go out, you can eat a bunch of different foods, a bunch of college kids walking around. You know, I had just graduated from school myself, so it's like, it's like I hadn't even left campus.
Yeah.
No, I fucking love kitchen work.
Did you
though,
like Blondies or did you like Blondies?
Oh, I love Blondies. Blondies was a
Blondies
good
is
spot.
pretty
Spats
good.
is pretty good. I like Spats a lot.
Oh, Spads, yeah. Is Spats still around?
Spats is still around. Spats is still around.
They do. Do they do comedy? They used to do comedy at Spats.
If they do comedy, they're not doing it. They haven't done anything recently. I mean, Four Bells was like the spot to hit up in Oakland or Berkeley for comedy, and they stopped doing that recently, which is fine.
I used to love Berkeley. I used to love to kick it there, but Berkeley's changed.
Well, they've especially on the west side, they've added so much new housing. It's a totally different vibe, and the university keeps getting bigger, and the students are getting richer and richer. So they're just like worse and worse people to like just be around. Which sucks because like they're also much more ethnically diverse, but they're all rich, ethnic diverse people.
Which
is even more awkward.
That's what I'm saying. Like
because they don't care if you call them racist. Because they're like, yeah, in our home countries we're very racist too, and that's accepted.
There's got to be more conversation about like the disparity between peoples in this country, because it really isn't purely just race. Because like I can't relate to anybody who makes 7 figures.
No, absolutely not.
Like, but yeah.
Well, it's like that's how it's always really been, right? Like when we think about it, what it means to like be of a different ethnic group, that means we had to live in different places. We got to only work at different jobs. Like even thinking back, like a couple generations, if you're like a recent Irish immigrant, Italian immigrants, Polish people, and shit like that, Mexican Americans, African American people. There's only certain shit that we used to they would only let Latinos live, only let Asian people live, only let Black people live, and because of that, it like affected our whole ways we had. But since things changed, and so now people are all mixed up. Now we live in a more racially integrated society than what's ever been possible before. And so it means like lots of different types of people can get fucking rich in this society.
That's the fun of it too, because you also have like foreign influence and money coming in, where you have like people that are billionaires in whatever country they're coming from, and you have all these poor Americans where it's like, yeah, you may have had these separate communities, but it's like we have a lot more in common being American and poor than we do with some Chinese billionaire coming in and buying up the block.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing. It doesn't matter if like it's Jeff Bezos buying up the block or if it's some Chinese shell company. The effect is the same.
No, literally.
My friend told me he was in the CIA for 20 years. And I realized what he was trying to say is I was a drug dealer for 20 years.
Yeah.
I was in the CIA. It was a secret. I'm like, you were just dealing drugs, weren't you? You just know what I mean.
Yeah. But it's like, but let's go back to the previous points. Like, you think it like here, like, especially how we talk about gentrification, like, they'll always talk about it as like it's a strictly a racial issue. But it's really not. Like, in the Bay Area, like, the main waves of immigration are, South Asian, East Asian people. And they're very well-to-do. Yeah. And even then, you go back to societies like, I work with a lot of groups of different people who represent political prisoners in India. And they talk about, like, the way, like, the caste system really treats the dirt poor fucking people over there in India. Untouchables. But not just that. There's whole types of different types of castes and all different types of oppression. And we only get to experience, like, the really well-to-do people. They get to emigrate here and buy up whole tracts of property. Yeah. And just like that, when it comes to, like, a lot of the different, from the rest of the Asian continent. And we're, like, if we think about just, like, racial terms, we're not even able to, like, understand that solidarity, actually. We're not even have this issue.
It's a big topic in Canada, too, because they have a lot of the lower caste that may not qualify for American citizenship, but we can get like a diploma thing in Canada. Mm-hmm. So you have a lot of people coming into Canada, and then there's a lot of turf wars and shit, and then there's also that superiority because it's like, you couldn't make it to America.
They'll literally try to bring their system of oppression to this country, like
they bring their fucking turf wars with them here, and it's like,
it's interesting. Like, it's thinking like this area in the Northeast, there was this company, and it was owned by some upper caste Indian people, and they were building, like, they claimed it was like a temple. But it was also like a lot of just real estate projects too, and they would sponsor lower caste people to come and work for them, and they would seize their passports and just make them work on the property, like as like tithing for like their religion.
It's like, you want to be here? Well, you're happy here. Like,
well, you want to be here, but also this is a religious thing too. So if you want to be in accordance with our cultural values, because I have a role as a cultural authority to you, it's not just like I'm a rich person. I'm also somebody that your mom looks up to.
You will go to hell.
Yeah, you'll go to hell, and your mom's gonna fucking call you and tell you you're gonna go to hell too if you don't do what I say. And they basically had people living like fucking slaves.
By the fucking balls.
Like we're living like slaves, and eventually like it got rolled over in the FBI by the FBI. This is like 3 or 4 years ago, and this was like I think in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Like they're finally cracking down.
I believe it. Well, that was just one case. This stuff happens all the time.
They're like sweatshops near here,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a sweatshop nearby. I went to some dispensary near the Mission, and I'm like, there's a fucking sweatshop here.
Well, have you seen like the big like the kitchen units they'll have, where it'll just be like the delivery companies? There'll just be a bunch of kitchens,
like ghost kitchens.
Yeah, ghost kitchens, the big ghost kitchens and stuff. Because they have all different levels of that. Even like they have like the
like you'll have like 3 different restaurants in that single facility.
Not even just 3. Some of the ones they have on Market Street, they have 12 15.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
Like insane sizes. But then you have like the Eat Fresh,
yeah.
the meal kit people. Those are just fucking sweatshops, you know. Those are just
I love that
sweatshops.
people are complaining. Like, I go to my sushi place, now the cook is Mexican. Like, I'm like, dude, I think Mexicans can cook anything. My high school is 93% minority.
Yeah.
You know, and in fact, when I was living there, it was mostly white and Asian, and the Chinese people just took over my neighborhood. They moved in because my high school was good. They wanted their kids to turn out just like
And that
me.
doesn't make us insecure at all.
Yeah, I'm
Mainland
not being
China.
racist.
Xi Jinping, just so you know,
Yeah.
we're totally okay living side by side.
Ni
with
hao,
the
China,
great Han
10,000
people.
years.
But 93% and the thing I kept wondering,
Gong hei fat
is
choi.
it 7% white or is it 7% white male? When they decide that some group is a minority, are the white women also considered minority, or are they just white? Do we got white? Are white women considered part of the minority, or are they like when you do minority charts?
I think
know?
that's why this doesn't really make any sense. You know, when we think about it, just cutting it up like that, because like, yeah, no, you know, because it's like obviously women are oppressed too. You know, we can agree on that. But when we think of like what it means to just be like a minority, it's kind of just that's a relative thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
like I work in schools. There's no dudes who work as teachers in schools. There's 3 men teachers in my school.
Yeah.
You know, there's no black man teachers. I'm the only black male teacher. I'm the only black male kindergarten teacher. But if I was to have like another white male teacher, he would also be a minority amongst us because mostly, you know, Asian white female teachers.
Yeah.
My dad's also the only black teacher at his school. He works at. It's mostly white people, just white teachers. So yeah, it varies. It's all a relative thing when we try to think of like what's a minority or not.
Yeah. When I was in high school, we had Republican teachers. They were openly Republican, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I respect that more.
Yeah,
Because we had to talk about something
yeah.
versus we all pretend like we know the right things to talk about. And I'm tired of land
yeah.
acknowledgments.
If there was somebody who entered my high school, if there was any problems, we knew a couple of teachers who had guns in their cars. They knew who it was.
And you went to high school in the Bay Area?
Yeah, this was in the 80s and 90s. But yeah, we had Republican teachers, and it was okay. But these days, it's like that would never happen.
Well,
you
now they
know?
just moved to Marin in Sonoma County, or they live in Clear Lake now. But also, that's just where a lot of people have to
Yeah.
live now. You know, like
Yeah,
not even
in
just like
general,
if they're Republican or not. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's why they call Antioch New Oakland, right? Like in terms of all the
Yeah.
Oakland people who displaced out to Antioch and shit.
And you got white people running with it in Lathrop now.
Yeah,
I
I love the
I-
country whites of California.
I
They're
never
like my
thought.
favorite country whites.
I never thought white
You
people
still get,
would
like,
be
a
in
little beach
Lathrop,
vibe, right?
yeah.
A little
They're
beach
still a
vibe.
little like Cali Wally in there. It's not full,
Because they're
like-
country whites that had to live near black and Mexican people when they were kids, and they're really proud of it. On top of being kind of beachy.
Okay. Because there is a lot of like yeehaw kind of energy in Cali. I
Oh,
wasn't
absolutely.
expecting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the thing is, like, particularly the Bay Area, we have this major connection with not just the Midwest, but like the Deep South. That's where the black community
Well,
comes
okay, but in the Central Valley, that's pretty much what it is. It's very rural out
Yeah,
in the
it's-
Central
from. Yeah,
Valley.
exactly.
That's what-
It's
yeah.
still a rural
I mean,
community.
1 hour out of the Bay Area, and you're basically in the valley.
Yeah, but where people come from as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people migrate from middle America.
Mm-hmm.
So
Have a lot of people from these places coming over and establishing. That's why we have this type of energy. We're not so different after all.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
our
Truly.
metropolitan areas have this particular blue wave.
Oh yeah. I saw a Filipino buffet when I was in Vegas. I'm like, I've never seen a Filipino buffet before. I'm like, and I'm into lumpias. You know,
I love lumpia.
I think lumpias are better than egg rolls. Where do you fall in the lumpia egg roll debate?
Gotta be lumpia. Maybe if spring rolls were on the table, then we could have a conversation. But if it's like just purely egg rolls and lumpia.
I'm gonna have to go with lumpia. Lumpia all day.
Lumpia. I think lumpia, but I like burritos just like
depends
big
on
ass-
the egg roll.
Yeah, it depends.
That's what I'm saying. Like if there was a spring roll there, I'd have to really choose because I like a nice like crispy light. Because there's not really anything in it. It's just kind of like cabbage or whatever.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
fun. That's fun.
So what plugs we got going here? What you got plugs or?
Well, I don't have anything booked this month, but you can check me out on Dayton D Comedy. I have some of my recent sets posted there if anyone wants to check that out. Try to update that regularly. Yeah, that's all I got to plug. That's all I got.
One and done. Short and sweet.
One and done.
So where do we catch everything you do? Where's your socials at? You have one below you for Instagram.
Yeah, so I'm mostly on Instagram right now. You can follow Instagram Dayton D Comedy to follow everything that's going on over there. Like I said, like you got some sets that are previously posted. We've got some. I'll probably have some things booking soon, but as of now, June, I'm just trying to support Pride Month. XWord, book me, please. We still have time.
Are you gonna go to the Pride Parade? Are you doing the Pride Parade?
Pride Parade. That's almost canceled now these days.
Can you even go on the?
It's kind of amongst the woke people. It is. We just picnic on
Can you
Pride
even
Day.
do
Woke people
the-
are canceling.
Can you even go on the
There's too
Pride
many cops and
Parade?
it's too corporate.
Oh, that's
It is
Yeah,
true.
that's fair.
Because
Wholesome.
You see
Wholesome.
people. You see companies out there. They're all with their employee.
You got fucking
t-shirts.
Raytheon and BlackRock sponsoring Pride. It's like
Yeah.
you're murdering children and making us homeless. Like,
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here.
Like, get fucked.
I show
like,
up
get
with
out
a
of
big
our
ass,
place.
I bring my big ass log cabin and I march in the Pride Parade just carrying my log cabin. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's how I.
And that's
but,
fun.
But can you even like decide? Can you? If you show up, could you just get in the parade? I mean,
I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Well,
You not
yeah.
get in the parade route. You can get and you can spectate the parade, but to actually get in the parade,
Yeah, I
they would
mean-
assume that you're trying to protest it.
but in
Yeah, like, could you do that with like Macy's? Like they tase you.
do you think there'll
Yeah.
be protests this year?
I don't know if there'll be
What are
protests.
the odds, dude? You don't think the Palestinian protesters are gonna show up? They
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. I
they
think it's
show up
actually
for
quite likely.
everything.
You think they'll protest Pride? Because Pride is a little more intertwined with Israel, and I'm not even trying to make that like a
Yeah,
thing.
you know.
Well, it would definitely make sense to disrupt it if they're trying to make like a corporate connection, because a lot of the companies there are actually the target of a lot of local campaigns. So it's actually pretty likely, you know.
Which is fair. I mean, it's fair to call them out because you know what? I'm not gonna say I'm libertarian, but like keep the corporate shit out of it. Like I get you want sponsors and
It's
stuff,
all
but like
cool, but
I'm there
But
to
also, like,
I'm there
yeah.
to fuck. I'm not there to
it
buy
takes a
stocks.
lot.
Yeah, and also, you know, free
Wait,
Palestine
you're
and
going to the
genocide,
gay
you know?
pride parade to fuck. I mean, is that what you just said? You go to the gay pride parade to fuck?
Yes,
I mean, what about gay pride, son?
that is my
What
gay
the-
pride
what
Yeah.
the hell, yeah.
to go fuck.
But pride too is a sin.
Have you gotten laid at the gay pride parade before?
I've actually never been to a pride parade.
You never been
Really?
to a
Then you
pride
should
parade?
definitely go.
I'm not really a parade kind of guy though. Like
Okay,
even like
well,
Macy's and
You'll
like
go see the Lunar New Year parade.
No, I never know.
You should go see the Lunar New Year
I like
parade.
the fireworks on their block.
And the
I
Pride
should-
Parade.
I
Should
may-
at least one time.
I should check it off the box. I should.
I knew somebody who had a
Pride
straight
person.
pride T-shirt. You know.
That's hilarious. That's so fucking. No, that's funny
nice and
because like if
provocative.
Pride Month is only for June, that means it's
Yeah.
a straight Pride worldwide rest of the year.
Yeah.
After that month, for the rest of the year, it's for the straight people.
I ran into the gay pride is fun, but yeah, it's like, but now it's like, it's weird because in LA, don't they do it like this weekend? Like in LA, in West Hollywood, they do it a separate weekend, and then Oakland Pride is like in August or it's on a different date. Like, why is it they get to decide when Pride is? You know, why isn't it official?
Well, they want it because everyone's gonna want to go to LA, and then everyone's
Yeah.
gonna want to go to Oakland, so you can spread it apart longer. Like
And
we'll
now
do
you
LA
get-
and then Oakland, and just
You
like,
get searched. You get searched now. Like, you can't bring a backpack. You got to, you know.
Oh, that's the dumbest shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a rave, like those stadium kind of raves where you have to bring like the clear plastic backpacks. and
Yeah.
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah, that kind of.
There was a
Which I
rave-
get it. I mean, like you know, I'm not like anti-gun,
people-
but
a
it's
lot of
like
people
people
die.
have guns.
There
A
was
lot of people
rave,
die at
like-
shows.
Yeah.
But like you know, it's fair.
There was a rave like 2 weeks ago in Civic Center.
Was that thousands of people, right? With Skrillex and stuff?
Do you know anybody
Right,
who went
yeah,
there?
Skrillex.
or-
Nah, I fucking wish.
I think I had a couple people. Yeah, people on my Instagram I saw
That's
going
cool.
out there.
What about you? What plugs you got?
I got no plugs at all. I'm just doing a lot of stand-up comedy, getting around, doing modeling now. Lots of art classes. That's been fun.
What if people want to hire you as a model? Where can they find you and stuff?
I don't think it really. It's more of like just networking. But if you want to see me at doing stand-up and failing at that, just
Do you
go to
shave?
any bar.
Do you shave your body hair for the modeling, or
No, not really. Body hair looks nice sometimes. You kind of want to play with hair sometimes. I'll trim. I'm not like a wild man, but
how did it feel the first time you did it? Like, did you feel weird about it? Or
a little bit,
It was like,
bit.
"Ah, I'm just
Because there's like a
doing it."
stage, and it was a lot of like.
How long
Was-
do you stand for?
So the longest pose I did was 30 minutes.
Okay.
So then we do like a couple 30 minutes and then like a 5 minute in between each one. So I've been working on like just keeping my like cardio up so that I can keep my arm extended for like 30 minutes and not have to die. It's fun and crazy because like you'll think about like, oh, just standing still, that's whatever. But when you're conscious of it and you have to stand in a specific pose, you become hyper aware, and then you're just kind of like stuck in
Normally
this
you're
thing.
so twitchy, you don't even realize.
Do you ever
it.
like look at the
Exactly.
paintings and afterwards? Do you ever look at the artwork?
All the time. Sometimes I get to keep them too, and that's been a lot of fun. I'm building a little just collection.
You got a whole
People's
room full
drawings
of
of you?
Yeah,
drawings
yeah.
of you.
That's
nude.
diabolical.
Some people are
can't
better
let
than
no
others.
woman-
Happy Mother's Day. Here's
can't
a
let
new
some woman
here's a
find
new
that in your
picture of me,
place.
Mom. You
No,
know?
I don't. My mom knows all. I've shown her all this stuff. It's
Do you keep it
beautiful
up on a
art.
wall, or do you
I
keep it
do.
like a file?
I keep them. I got one. I got one.
Has
on a
anybody ever gave you like after a half hour showed you their picture and it was so bad it was like a stick figure? Or
Some
something,
kind
You're
of
like,
actually kind of like some of them were very interpretive.
My dick is a lot bigger than that. Goddamn.
Okay, this is a faux pas too. So you're not supposed to like talk about that. But like there was one guy who was a little more. You could look at him and it's like he's gay, and it's like it's fine, you know.
He's
So
a
I-
little. He was horny, basically.
And like I just went up to him and he you're not supposed to say this kind of stuff, but I went up to him and I'm like, oh, you did me justice, like thank you for the dick region.
me justice.
He really embellished the truth, and
What if he wanted to hire you for like a
I'm
private-
glad I parted my ball hair today.
exactly, yeah, it's flower or feathered.
Feathered, yeah.
right,
Do you comb your
But,
pubic hairs or? Do you,
And it looks a
Mostly-
little bit like David Spade.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, wow.
The wings. But I could do privates. The problem with private shows is that like it doesn't pay as much. Like I want a bigger audience because then I get tips too. So I've done shows where it's only been like 2 artists and you get like $50 at the end of it.
Oh
But
wow.
sometimes like the best I got was like $220. It pays. It pays.
How many
and,
were in the audience for that?
About like 14.
Oh, come on.
So I'm surrounded, but it's
Surrounded,
it's
yeah.
a really good energy. A lot of artistic integrity. I love doing it, and if comedy doesn't work out, that's probably what I'm gonna make my
have
career.
you met
out of.
any? Have you met any MILFs like doing that shit? Have you gotten dates out of it or?
Again, it's kind of like a faux pas to kind of like.
I don't care if
hit
it's
people
a
up,
faux-
but I feel like people have been I feel like I got the eye sometimes, but I haven't like indulged on it.
That's probably for the best.
it
Or at
really
least what you
is,
should
like-
share publicly if that's going to be a career for you.
Have you met somebody?
Exactly. I probably shouldn't say any of this.
Have you
but
met somebody
it's not like
somewhere
anybody's
else,
listening to this right
and they're like, "You look familiar." I don't know what you look familiar, and they don't know where they see.
now. Oh, but they drew my dick one time.
Yeah, they're like,
Or they
"What?"
saw the. Oh, maybe that'd be maybe in the future. But
Yeah.
everyone's such a professional though too. Like it's such a good energy and
So I got Kells every Friday
Yes.
in North Beach. Kells, come on down. I did my Princess Diana joke. They didn't think it was funny at all. They weren't into my Princess Diana humor.
they still love the princess.
They didn't understand. They were all kids.
Those are
They
still-
don't remember the funeral. Like I remember the funeral, man, and it's kind of sad. So yeah, Princess Diana, Vegas. Vegas is fun, you know, especially when you got an air-conditioned hotel room to look forward to.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to be stuck out there 120 degrees.
Non-protected, that's just death sentence.
Hell yeah. I was on the internet. Some woman was talking about she got a bunch of condoms, like medium-sized condoms, and as a joke, I said, "Hey, did you get me any small-sized condoms?"
Oh my god, wait, I'm so sorry to interject, but I was in French Canada once and I didn't know the fucking language, and I go to like a convenience store to buy some condoms, and the woman said something, she's like mumbling something, she's like, oh ho ho, like these ones? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, I just need condoms. And she's like, and like all the people in the store are laughing and shit, and I pay for the condoms, and they were like, yeah, it was like medium or like small or something, and just like, they didn't fit, so it's like, I got to fuck bareback, which was fun. But that fucking convenience store, they're all laughing at me, and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, and it's like,
It was okay, I got to
I
fuck
want
beer
Chinese
back. What the
condoms.
fuck?
Fuck the Chinese condoms, man. There's like,
We're at that point.
so okay, so thank you for being on.
Oh, thank you
of
for having
course.
me.
Thank you. So you got summer school going on, or
Oh yeah, you know, parents still have to go to work over the summer, so.
do you get to fail the kids? Is it fun giving kids bad grades?
No, that's in San Francisco. The kids don't fail. They don't get held back. We just keep passing them on no matter what they
What
do.
if the kids are rich? Do you feel?
Oh, if they're
different?
rich, they can do whatever the fuck they
Do you
want.
feel? Would you like fail a rich kid? Or?
Absolutely not. 'Cause then
No.
they'd sue the school.
because their dad will fire you.
No, they'll say we'll sue the school, and then it'll only escalate from there.
So do you like the special ed programs, or?
Well, I think
Have they come a long way from like the past?
I would say yes, but at the end of the day, the students do well depending on like the support they have at home. So it doesn't really matter. Well, no, it does matter how the progress we've made, but at the same time, like the education system is still fundamentally the same, right? The more well-to-do students are the ones that do the best, and that goes for ones with disabilities. And so, yeah, a lot of things are becoming more inclusive. I've become a lot more understanding, but students in San Francisco struggle just the way they do all over the country. You know, it's the same basic.
Is that true?
Oh, same basic things. But the same problems with literacy, same problems, very similar problems with poverty and homelessness.
I learned how to read English in 3rd grade. So.
Excellent. That's
But
that's pretty normal.
I ride like I ride right after kindergarten. So those 3 years were hard, but I learned how to read English, and I can do cursive too. But yeah, you know what really upset me at the Giants game is I was buying some popcorn and they wanted me to tip them. Like, they're like, it's automatic now. Like when you're about to put in your credit card, they ask you.
Yeah, my tip's inside the popcorn. Reach
Yeah.
in.
Reach
But
in.
the thing is that my eyesight's not the best. I can't read little words anymore that well. And I was showing my friend, I'm like, what do they want? They want you to tip them. So it was weird because the woman looking at me, she had just run up like a fucking, like 12 steps up just to get me my fucking popcorn. You know, it's not my fault.
Oh, they brought it to your seat?
They brought it to my seat.
That's kind of cool.
And I was like, I still didn't tip them, you know. Because I'm a cheap fuck, and I'm an Angels fan, you know. Angels fans, we don't tip.
I do.
You know.
Yeah, that's her fault for working in Oakland. Is it the Angels?
So it's time to go, kids. Thank you for being on. Boom. Thank you for being on.
Thanks for having me once again. It's been a
Thank you
really
for
fun
being
time.
on.
Anytime.
And you know, if any of the people you work for ever need like fat male models, you know, I'm always available. But I'm on SSI. I need to be paid under the table, you know. So, but
Oh, it's all cash.
if some woman ever like, I want to fucking paint some dude with big titties, I'm like, just tell them I'm available.
I got
for
you.
that
I'll
shit.
get your name in the hat.
Yeah.
Till next week, guys.